Um, the budget of CDA decreased from, as you stated, there's a reduction of 344 million plus. However, despite the reduction, you are now stating the traveling expenses under 2025 will almost double. Why should that be so? Why will you be spending and prioritizing travel over everything else? I enjoin the other committees to please maintain silence as we have to focus on the Cooperative Development Authority. You may leave the room if you're not yet up, if you have nothing to do with the CDA po, Dr. Loreche. Yes, Yusek and
Yes,
Cabo.
Madam Chair. The expenditure on the travel is somehow associated on the conduct of our inspection of our cooperative development specialists. To
Somehow
the
po, is there
to
a
the
breakdown? Can we understand? Double is a lot.
we do the sealing of our travel, Madam Chair, because we need to inspect the cooperatives that are operating and
And you
compliant.
didn't inspect them before?
Uh, the conduct of the inspection, Madam Chair, is a yearly basis.
That's right.
Yes.
Pero yung nakaraang taon, mas maraming di hamak yung ating mga co-op, nasa 22,000. Ngayon, ang pinagmamalaki ninyo na ibaba ng halos 20,000, kung nabawasan yung bibisitahin, bakit nagdoble ang gasto sa pagbibisita?
Actually, Madam Chair, for last year, we had a ceiling of 5,000 pesos per CDS in the conduct of the inspection and travel every month.
Yes, I'm not discussing the ceiling. I'm just inquiring why there's an urgent need to suddenly visit all these co-ops that you never did in the past. I'm
Compared,
simply asking you to justify the
yes,
proposal. I'm not objecting.
yes, Madam
I
Chair.
just need to understand why it's suddenly blown up to double when in fact your overall budget has been reduced.
Yes, Madam Chair. The impact for that is in the 2024 budget, we had an increase and we also allocated an increase of their travel for purpose of inspection, which we doubled because we have somehow a limited budget for 2023 compared to last year. And since
Pasensya, naguluhan ako ng todo. Can you please put the explanation in writing? I'm unable to understand why it doubled.
yes, Madam Chair, we will submit your office.
Parang nalito ako. You're now referring to 2022, 2023, and 2024. I'm just saying it's doubled in 2025 from 2024. Yun lang po. Bakit bumalik tayo sa 4 na taon?
I'm sorry for that, Madam Chair. We are putting more premium on the conduct of inspection, so budget is given due to the inspection process of our CDS to the cooperative. So we allocated an increase for that, Madam Chair.
So I would also like to understand your justification in the light of the reduction in your budget. Is it meet and proper that you expend so much on traveling? Ngayon na nagtitipid kayo dapat, hindi ba may iba pang prioridad ng ating mga co-op maliban sa pagbabiyahe ng CDA?
As of this year, Madam Chair, and next year, the budget related to our inspection, examination, and
Sino-sino ba nagbabiyahe? Ang pagkaalam ko, may regional offices naman kayo.
yes, Madam Chair, we
Meron
have.
namang field offices.
Yes, Madam Chair, and we
Yes, so relative to your budget, why is your traveling expense so high?
we allocate the budget to the different regions, Madam Chair, and it all depends also on the number of cooperatives operating in the region. Some have a large number.
Saan ang pinakamadami?
As of now, Madam Chair, we have in Region 3, we have more than around 3,000 cooperatives, Madam Chair.
Kung sana sinabi ninyo, Island Region of Visayas, maniniwala po pa ako. Pero sa Region 3, puro kalsada lang yan, madali magbiyahe at mura lang.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Wala namang islang tatawirin, patag na patag, wala rin bundok.
We understood, Madam Chair. And
I'm sorry, I don't.
we will try to reassess our budget on this, Madam Chair. But
Region 3 ba ang pinakamalaking allocation sa travel expense? I just need justification. I'm just perplexed. I will have to defend this not only in the plenary but also to the co-ops themselves who have been crying for more assistance, and yet you're going to expend a significant of your budget on a doubled amount for mere traveling.
Compared to Region 3, Madam Chair, and other regions in Visayas, the proportionate number of co-ops would likely be affecting also the budget requirement on them. So just like
Kaya nga, hindi nga maliwanag. Una, sinabi ninyo, kasi maraming inspeksyonin, so yung lugar na pinakamadaming co-op. So, maraming co-op sa Region 3, pero puro patag, may daan, at puro land-based. Ngayon, kung malaki yung traveling, dahil nasa Visayas, maintindihan pa kasi puros isla. Kung asa Mindanao, apakahirap pumunta, kulang-kulang ang mga kalsada at marami ring isla. Pero hindi ko maintindihan yung paliwanag mo. Number of co-ops ba? Distansya ba? Hirap ba magbiyahe? Alin ba?
It's one of the reasons, Madam Chair, is also the proximity, the distance po. That's why every time the regions provide their work and financial plan, it is also related to the distance and the number of co-ops.
Ako yung sumagot nun eh.
Eventually, Madam Chair, your observation is right.
Hindi, paliwanag mo to. Hindi ko maipapaliwanag to sa co-op at sa DBM. What's the participation of CDA in the highly controversial PUV modernization program? What have you done with regard to the PUV modernization? We know there's an Office of Transport Co-ops under the DOTR. What is the linkage? Because we never quite understood the intersection between your agency as well as the DOTR?
The CDA, Madam Chair, fully supports the modernization program. So the intervention...
Sana naman, bahagi kayo ng administrasyon.
Yes po. And when it comes to
What I'm asking, paano kayo naghahati ng trabaho? Alin ang papel ng CDA? Alin ang papel ng DOTR?
By the time that these transport groups will be converted to a cooperative, Madam Chair, that's we provide the hand-holding program to them. At the same time...
Teka, paano nag-umpisa yan? Halimbawa, may grupo ng namamasada, anong mangyayari? Sinong magtitipon-tipon sa kanila at magsasabi na maging co-op na kayo?
Once they manifested their intent, Madam Chair...
Saan sila lalapit? DOTR o sa inyo?
Sa amin po. Then,
sa inyo?
Yes po. Then,
pero yung mga requisitos ninyo napakatataas, no? Dapat ilang membro, ilang taon na. Eh, syempre, bago pa lang to, hindi sila magko-comply sa qualifications ng CDA. 2-3 taon, di ba? Hindi pa in existence yung mga yan, kaya nga kinukumpun eh.
Well, regardless of the years of existence, ma'am, once we receive an endorsement from DOTR, LTFRB, and OTC, immediately the CDA reaches out to these transport groups.
Teka, saan nanggaling? Saan nanggaling yung reach out? Sino mag-manifest? Kasi you're not actually in daily constant contact with the transport groups, right?
Yes, ma'am.
DOTR is the one?
As we receive...
you receive the request from whom?
From OTC, ma'am, an endorsement. That this
so, ang nauna OTC. Hindi tama yung sinabi mo kanina na lumalapit sa inyo yung mga namamasada.
What I mean, Madam Chair, is upon receipt of their endorsement, they will present it to CDA. Then we will schedule for a pre-registration.
Upon receipt of whose endorsement?
From OTC po.
So it's OTC that... so who triggers the entire process? Para maintindihan natin. Kasi very problematic to, hindi nga maintindihan. Kung hindi rin naintindihan na CDA, talagang malaking problema natin. So sa nag-umpisa, sinong lalapitan ng ating mga namamasadang nagnanais maging co-op? Saan muna pupunta? Ganun lang kasimple.
Yes, ma'am. Pag na-identify na po ng OTC...
Teka muna. Namamasada ako. Gusto ko maging co-op kasama ng aking mga karuta. Saan ako pupunta?
Well,
sa iyo ba o kay OTC?
OTC muna, ma'am.
So, sa
Para,
OTC mo
yes,
na.
ma'am.
Oo,
Opo.
ngayon, okay.
Para
Ang hirap makakuha ng sagot sa iyo, Josephine Cabo, Yuse.
sa OTC muna,
Hirap
ma'am.
po ako. Okay, OTC pala, hindi pala CDA.
Yes.
Sabi mo kasi kanina, lalapit sa inyo. Kung sino man ang lalapit sa inyo na transport co-op. Eh, yung pala, kailangan lalapit sa OTC. Okay, nasa OTC na tayo. Anong mangyayari ngayon?
So, magkakaroon po sila, ma'am, ng endorsement or a note coming from OTC, ipapakita sa amin dahil magtatayo po sila ng co-op at bibigyan agad namin, ma'am, ng tinatawag na pre-registration seminar, and we will provide them also the necessary requirements that they have to comply as manifesting their interest to become cooperatives.
Okay lang yun, pero alam na natin hindi sila qualified. Under your rules, hindi naman sila qualified kasi yung mga 2 years in existence, X number of members, etc. Siyempre, hindi naman sila matagal nang nag-ooperate. Paano po yun? Hindi sila magka-qualify.
Well, on our mandate, Madam Chair, we don't require a specific number of years to become a cooperative po. Ang importante lang po is a number of individuals that will meet the requirements to become a cooperative po, which is
Number
a minimum
of
of 15.
members,
Minimum of
capital,
15.
assets.
Yes, ma'am. Minimum
So,
15.
15 members lang.
Yeah po.
O tapos, so no need for the years. Kasi dati ito yung problema, 2 years, di
No,
ba?
no
3
need,
years.
ma'am. No need po.
No. O ano pa?
Well,
Ano mangyayari nun? Eh di, okay, nakapag-comply, tapos na yung pre-registration seminar, what happens next?
so after complying all the requirements, ma'am, we will inform the LTFRB and the OTC again that this particular...
Where do you conduct the pre-registration seminars? I'm sorry.
It depends on their preference, ma'am. Sometimes in a barangay covered court.
Hindi, pero you go all over the country? If
Yeah,
it occurs in Davao?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. And paano yun? Nagbabayad ba sila? O ilang araw ba yan?
Wala pong bayad, Madam Chair.
Yeah, and
It's
then ilang araw?
Well, in a general application, ma'am, it's 1 day.
General meaning?
Yeah, 1 day po. Pero kasi paminsan, ma'am, yung mga transport natin,
So gastos ninyo yun?
Yes, ma'am. Opo,
Pero
ma'am.
yung 1 day na bubuo nila, isang araw na hindi mamamasada, afford ba nila yan?
Yung nga, ma'am, paminsan po, may 2, may 3, kasi nagre-request po sila, ma'am, na kung pwede 2 to 3 hours lang per day dahil mamamasada po sila, then we adjust naman po.
Okay. So what assistance then do you give the co-ops to start out? Sabi mo may hand-holding?
Yes, ma'am. We basically focus on the fundamentals of cooperatives. We teach them the governance on cooperatives so that once...
No, we understand that. We understand that. That's not assistance. You're just lecturing them. Can you
Well,
tell me, is there any assistance after the pre-registration seminar that's provided by the CDA?
Aside from the hand-holding, ma'am, wala na po. And of course, ma'am, we have the accounting system introduced to them to help them in their audited financial...
Pero tinuturo naman natin yan sa lahat ng co-op, di ba? So walang special sa transport. Tinatanong ko lang, ano ang pakinabang maging co-op para sa isang grupo ng namamasada? Hindi naman kayo nagbibigay ng financial assistance, sabi mo. Meron ba? Meron bang halaga sa budget for a livelihood program for displaced transport operators? Magkano? What are the mechanics?
Yes, one of the approaches that we introduced to the transport cooperatives, ma'am, is to bridge them to other big cooperatives for livelihood program.
No, understood. But ipapasa lang ninyo sa billionaire co-ops yan.
Yes.
They may or may not agree. But in the meantime, you have no livelihood program for these transport co-ops and neither does DOTR. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Anong pakinabang maging co-op?
Well, the members are
So there's no financial assistance. I have that
coming
on-
from the CDA, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
CDA provides no. Pero marami kayong pera pang transport ha, pero wala kayong pang financial assistance. Paano natin ipagtatanggol yan?
Unless, ma'am, if we have a, we can allocate for a budget for that. And there is a
Kasi sabi
proposal.
ninyo, kailangan mag-handhold kasi bago pa yung co-op eh.
Yes, ma'am.
bakit walang financial assistance man lang? Yung
Well,
DOTR, meron ba sila sa OTC ng financial assistance?
for um, as far as I'm concerned, ma'am, the OTC provides training on refleeting program.
Ang dami
And,
naman ninyong training, patong-patong ang training.
that
Maririndi naman yan sa kate-training. Namamasada pa at naghahanap buhay yung tao. Magte-training sa CDA, may training na naman sa OTC, pero walang assistance. Ganun ba yun?
well, we propose a program, ma'am, to mitigate their economic needs, no?
What program?
And that's why we're asking
What
for
program is that po?
for the drivers, ma'am. I mean, for the transport cooperatives affected by the public utility modernization program.
What program is that na?
Mitigating program, ma'am, in the amount of what's this? The financial assistance of
Nasaan? Meron na sa 2025 budget?
proposal, ma'am. It's requesting to
So wala.
oh yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you proposed, but what happened? But rejected
Hindi
by
po na
DDM.
it's not included in the NEP, ma'am.
Yeah. But was it included in your submission to the DBCC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, may I see that submission? You please submit that. So we have it on record that in fact wala naman tulong. Sasagutin ba ninyo pag napilitan mag-utang, syempre ang ating mga driver at operator? Sasagutin ba ninyo yung utang? Co-guarantor ba kayo dyan?
No, ma'am.
O hindi rin kayo co-guarantor?
Yes, ma'am.
Ang OTC hindi rin co-guarantor?
Yes, ma'am.
O ang tanong ko lang, anong pakinabang maging co-op sa ilalim ng OTC o CDA kung hindi naman kayo nagbibigay ng tulong at maliban doon, hindi rin ninyo sasagutin yung utang kapag hindi nakapagbayad at hinila ng bangko?
Well, in the context of one of the principles of cooperativism, ma'am, yung self-help, all of the members will be part of the obligation to
Hindi, kasi ang
support.
sinasabi ng ating mga driver, ang transport operator, ang lagi lang sinasabi, kapag naging co-op kami, magiging empleyado kami sa co-op na yan.
Yeah.
Samantalang ngayon, kami ang nagmeme-ari ng aming sasakyan. So, paano mo sasagutin yon? Kasi yan ang sinasagot ko araw-araw pag hinaharap ko ang ating mga jeepney at iba pang operator.
Well, basically, ma'am, Madam Chair, is they share all the income that they've got for their cooperatives. And that's why we have this so-called patronage refunds or the
Paano nga
dividends.
magkaka-income eh? May
Yeah.
utang nga eh.
Well,
You start out burdened with utang dahil kukuha ka ng bagong sasakyan.
yes, ma'am. The credit confidence naman po is manggagaling din sa mga GFIs natin, ma'am, to the cooperatives. And they will be evaluated based
Hindi,
on
ang pagkaalam ko, yung GFI, hindi ba ang grant natin nasa 160 lang? Samantalang ang bagong sasakyan na level 4 nasa halos 3 million.
yes po.
So
And,
ano yung GFIs na sinasabi mo?
well, the land bank and the DBP, ma'am, provides loans on them.
Yes, magkano yung loan?
Depend
Paano natin ibebenta yung co-op kung walang bentaha mag-co-op? Yun nga sinasabi nila eh.
unless, ma'am, if the
Do you know what the loans are like? Magkano ang loan para sa isang sasakyan, sa isang pinakamaliit, bagong co-op, nakikinse ang miyembro? Magkano yung loan?
if
Saka yung interest?
if a co-op is granted around 10 units, ma'am, most likely they have around 30 million loans coming from GFIs po.
Tapos,
Approximately.
anong interest?
Uh,
Siguro you give us siguro isa pa yan, isabit na lang ninyo kasi I have so many to go through. But honestly, I think you should be better prepared with the effort to cooperativize. Otherwise, we cannot sell this effort to transport groups.
yes, ma'am.
Wala ang bentaha kasi isang katutak na training na hindi naman nila gusto kasi nakakaalintala ng hanap buhay. Pagkatapos, mangungutang pala, pero hindi naman kayo co-guarantor. Di pa natin alam kung magkano yung interest.
Yeah.
Paano ba yan? Ang grant pagkaliit-liit, ang taas-taas ng modelong hinihingi.
We will refer to the guidelines of the LTFRB, ma'am. regarding sa
Okay.
interest.
Yeah,
Because
I thought I would take this opportunity to ask you because you are part and parcel of this program.
uh,
What have you accomplished in any case since there is zero assistance? What are the registration and fees required? What are the registration procedures and fees? Sino nagre-rehistro? Ang CDA or OTC?
ang CDA po, and the registration fee is only around 500 pesos naman po.
Yeah, and then regular fees thereafter.
100 pesos po every time there's a submission of requirements every year.
No, sa taon-taon.
100, certificate of compliance, ma'am, is worth 100
100?
pesos po
Ganon.
every year po. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's not very expensive, but the question arises, what is the point? What's the advantage? Kumbaga benefit selling, what's in it for the members kung wala naman financial assistance, wala naman preferential loan?
The certificate of compliance, ma'am, is based on the requirements submitted by them, mandatory requirements and reports,
No, I know that's the
Yes.
same case with every single
and
co-op in the entire country.
and
That
tax
makes it
exemption.
no different from the transport co-ops. I'm just asking. This is a specific, extremely hard-hit sector, and we are now compelling them to become co-ops. All I need to ask and understand is why would they want to do so? Anong benepisyo sa kanila na maging co-op? Bakit hindi na lang sila manatiling hindi co-op?
Well, the business engagements are
Dahil
somehow
hinuhuli kapag walang rehistro. Totoo, yun lang
Yeah.
sinasabi namin. Para hindi lang, sinasabi sa amin, para lang hindi kami hulihin.
Well, that is the framework of LTFRB, Madam Chair. But for purpose of having them inspected every year, they're required to submit mandatory reports is a for the purpose of being a good standing cooperative and for purpose of tax
No,
exemption.
that's not my purpose. My purpose is, what is the understanding of CDA? Since you are trying to sell cooperativism to our transport sector, what are the benefits that you highlight to them? Until this moment, I haven't heard of a single benefit from your end.
Well, being part of a cooperative,
Maliban sa pinipilit sila, pagkat huhulihin sila kung hindi sila miyembro ng co-op, maliban doon, ligtas huli, ano pa ang bentahan nito?
well, the purpose of establishing a cooperative, ma'am, is to
I'm not
encourage
talking about co-ops in general. I'm talking about the transport co-ops. Can we just focus on
yeah.
transport co-ops, please? That's the topic. It doesn't matter if we don't know the answer, please submit in writing. Okay,
will do,
let's
ma'am.
proceed. So we don't know the answer. We resign to the fact that we have embarked into a partnership with OTC DOTR entirely blind as to the benefits of what we're doing. This is really a scary moment for public service.
Well, the framework really belongs to the LTFRB, ma'am. So we are part and
nakikisakay lang
parcel of
kayo.
it. Yes.
Dapat may pag-uunawa rin, di ba, sa ginagawa?
We don't have the luxury of providing them financial assistance as well. So we're sorry about that, Madam Chair.
No, you don't need to apologize to me. I just need to explain bakit mas maganda, mas bentaha kapag naging miyembro sila ng co-op. Kasi hanggang ngayon, di ko pa rin maintindihan. Paano kung papaliwanag pag tinanong ako? At
Well-
lagi akong tinatanong.
Well, it also applies sa transport co-op, ma'am, that if they become members of a cooperative, they will have an equal shares of the income that they get from the cooperative. So as they share also the risk, they also share the benefits of being a cooperative as a member of a cooperative.
Yung iba nga, ayaw yan eh. Kasi magpapakamatay sila ng 16, 20-hour shifts para lang makakuha ng mas maraming pera at buhayin ng kanilang pamilya. Makikishare pa sila sa mga tinatamad.
Yes,
Marami
ma'am.
ayaw yun eh.
Yes, ma'am. We understand. And as the CDA continues to promote the viability and growth of the cooperatives, we also continue to support, ma'am, the best practices that they should observe so that
I'm
result to
sorry.
that
I'm sorry,
they
but
will
that's not
benefit. Yes, sir.
responsive. That's really not responsive. Can you get back to LTFRB? Please get back to OTC so that you understand your role, even as you provide some kind of service in pre-registration seminars. It would be nice if all the agencies involved actually understood what they were doing. This is a very dangerous precedent. Let's proceed. An allotment of 250 million under the Coconut Farmers Fund was provided in 2022, of which you have only utilized little over a half. In 2023, out of the 250 allocated, again, even less was utilized, 23.6 million. What's going on? Ang dami-daming humihingi ng pera, pero ang CDA na may pera galing sa Coconut Farmers Fund, hindi nakakapagbigay ng tulong, gumastos, o mag-liquidate. Ano ba nangyayari?
The 225M, ma'am, intended for the processing plant and the
Aling taon to? Let's
2023.
I asked 2022 muna. 2022 muna tayo. Ano na ang liquidation dyan?
Uh, yes. In the 2022, ma'am, we were,
Kapatid, mainit. Sumagot ka naman kaagad.
yeah, 2022, ma'am, we hit 50% of our
Teka.
utilization.
2022, ang nakalista dito, little over half has
Yes,
been
ma'am.
spent. Tama?
Yes, ma'am. But the budget
O
was down.
ngayon, sinoli na.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Then,
Sinoli na kasi nag-expire na yan at the end of last year.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what happens now?
tama po.
Now, have you taken action to request for the unutilized funds para maibalik sa inyo? Kasi pera ninyo yan.
Yes.
Or at least pera ng coconut farmer.
Yes, ma'am. Ni-request na po namin yung
Ano ninyo rin-request? Gusto mo po? Anong pangalan ninyo?
can I
Yeah, just sit
Okay.
down. Are you the financial officer?
yes.
Yes, please introduce yourself. You're recognized by the chair.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Yes, your name, please.
I'm Mr. Joselito Aliasco, the Director of Credit Surety Fund Cooperatives and the concurrent Finance Division Chief. Regarding the CFIDP, Madam Chair, in 2022, or almost 50% to 50 million, because the fund was given to us somewhere on the last quarter.
Yes, I recall
Yes,
it was released
yes.
released in
We
November.
requested the said fund. Sabi ng, we were told
Yeah,
na
but if it was released November 2022, you have 2 years, di ba?
it is a automatic reversal to the treasury, to
When
the
was it
principal
reversed?
fund.
Can you give me a timeline here? Kailan na-release? November 2022?
Somewhere in October 2022, tapos we implemented the program
Okay.
until December 31, 2022.
Okay.
The remaining amount was reverted to the principal fund of the CFIDP.
So, okay, when did you write? We've been through this. Dapat alam niyo lahat ng sagot nito kasi sirang plaka na ako. Ito pinag-usapan na last year, 'di ba? Last year
Yes, Madam
sabi
Chair.
ninyo na nagsulat kayo. Kailan kayo nagsulat?
This was asked in the next year budget hearing. So
No, in the next budget hearing, you did not write them in the entire 2023, the first half. Wala pang budget
So
hearing.
we have written them,
Kaya nga,
Madam
give me
Chair.
a date when the first letter demanding the return of the reverted funds was made.
Though I'm not first or second quarter, Madam Chair, we will check with the date. We will
Yes,
submit to
you
your
should,
we will
because
submit to your office, and
you know, we went through this last year. Dapat kayang-kaya na ninyo tong timeline na to. Natanong na to eh. Tapos, sumagot ang treasury. Anong sabi? Anong sabi nila? Walang sagot?
ang sinabi naman nila, Madam Chair, is that we will implement the 2023 before they are going to download the 2022 that was reverted to the principal fund.
So,
But then
in
again,
effect, it's lost. So, you already lost for the coconut farmers upwards of almost 120 million. Masaya yan. 120 million
Yes po, Madam
of
Chair.
the 2022. Ngayon, yung 2023, mas malala. Out of the 250 allocated na naman, 23.6 million lang ang ginastos.
Yes, Madam
Bakit
Chair.
nga?
Because in the work and
Kaya ba't hindi magastos? Di ko maintindihan yung 23.6. Ang dami-daming ahensya rito naghihikahos. Lahat naglilimos ng budget na karagdagan.
yes,
Kayo, milyon-milyon, hundreds of millions, sinusoli ninyo. Parang naman napakayayaman ng ating mga mangnyunyog.
yes, Madam Chair. In 2023, the same 250 million, but the 200 million of that is for the establishment of the processing plant. And that was not
Has it
pursued.
been built?
No, no, Madam Chair. It
Oh.
was not pursued because of, I guess the chair can.
Yeah, as per evaluation, Madam Chair, there was a defect on the developmental plan that was intended for CFIDP, and it should be
Who made the
correct.
plan that was defective?
Oh, well, it has been initiated by
Was
PCA,
it the
Madam Chair.
PCA or
Yes.
was it the CDA? Siyempre, wala kayong expertise dyan.
Yeah,
Malay
yes.
naman ninyo sa
The
development
PCA,
plan.
ma'am, made
What year
initiated
was that?
2022, Madam Chair.
Hindi, 2023 budget ang pinag-uusapan ngayon. You said,
Yes, Madam Chair, 2023, we're not able to implement
mas
it.
lalo kami nalilito pag sumasagot kayo.
I'm referring to the 2022 of crafting of the development plan. We failed to implement it on 2023 because of yung pagpalis po, hindi pagpatigil sa atin.
We're now in 2023. Ayaw mo na yung 2022. Nawala ninyo yung 120 million pagkat napaka-late na pinadala sa inyo ng pera ayon sa inyo. 2023, 250 na naman. Out of the 250, ang sinasabi ninyo ngayon, defective na naman yung development plan. At hindi na pinursige yung processing plan. Tama ba?
Yes, ma'am, because based sa batas po, the CDA's role is only to establish cooperatives and empower them through trainings po.
So what happened na naman sa 2023, 250 million?
Na-revert na naman.
Na-revert na din po, Madam.
Magkano na-revert?
225 million po.
200?
225 million po. Kasi nga 200 million is for the processing plant and the 25 million supposedly for financial assistance for the Federation of Coconut Farmers that will be created for that processing plant.
Federation, wala pang primary.
May mga primary na po, ma'am. That was the
Ba't
intention
bigay
supposedly.
sa primaries na pilitin magbuo ng federation?
Kasi doon sa work and financial plan na submitted to PCA and approved by the PCA on the 2023, it is the construction of the processing plant and the
No,
25 million
we're
assistance.
past the processing plant. I gave up. 25 million is for financial assistance that could really have helped. Ang daming nagrereklamo dito. Talagang nagplano sila na bibigyan ninyo, pero hindi ninyo binigyan. Bakit?
There are two components, Madam Chair, that we are not allowed to implement. One, the construction of the processing plant.
No, wait, we're
Second,
done with the...
yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm talking about the 25 million. Can we focus? We have a lot of people here, a lot of agencies to go through. Let's just answer to the point.
Yes, that's a financial assistance, ma'am, that we are not allowed also to implement.
Why are you not allowed to implement? Ang title nga, financial assistance. Director Aliasgo, maybe you can help us. Kasasabi lamang, yung 25 million para sa financial assistance. And now Yusek and Cabo is saying you're not allowed to give financial assistance. Alin ba talaga?
Yes, Madam Chair. During that time po, the work and financial plan was questioned together with the financial assistance that it should not be given.
Questioned by whom? Procedures say...
Yeah, the office of Senator Villar, ma'am, and at the same time,
So the Committee on Agriculture.
yes, and the DOJ also provided a legal opinion that the CDA cannot implement provision of manufacturing plant and the provision of the financial assistance, ma'am. We will just
When
focus.
was the legal opinion provided? Can you give me a date? Bakit hindi nag-realign? Pera ng manyunyug yan, nawawala, taon-taon.
we were instructed by PCA, ma'am, to focus on the
Yes,
If-
but now you're
training and-
telling me, hindi, pumalpak na, defective yung plant, defective din yung processing plant na hindi pinatayo. Ngayon, yung financial assistance, hindi pwede rin magbigay ng financial assistance? Ano
Madam
yung
Chair.
balak ninyo yan? ASEC, I'm not sure if it's Ginomla or Disimban.
Pendatun Disimban po, ma'am.
Okay, yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Teka, yung legal opinion, kailan ibinigay? Matapos lang po. Legal opinion ng DOJ, 2023, 250 release.
Yeah, around first quarter of 2023, ma'am.
Date.
We're check.
By the way.
We will provide your office immediately, ma'am, a copy of that. We'll just securing it, ma'am, from our head office.
Kapatid, paano tayo magtatapos kapag ganito ng ganito? Okay, yes, ASEC Pendaton, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. Related dun po sa nabanggit nyo na issues, kung ano ba yung pakinabang ng mga cooperative sa CDA. Yung po yung sinasabi namin, ito sa Coco Levy, ma'am, nag-implement na po kami ng financial assistance sa mga cooperatives ng coconut farmers, 250,000 per cooperatives during the year 2023.
Hindi, iba naman to. Wala itong kinalaman sa transport co-op. Yung transport co-op walang pera. Ito may pera. Kaya talagang walang dahilan.
Yes, ma'am. Nagbigay po kami ng financial assistance kasi gusto po namin na matulungan kagad sila. Yes po, per region. Then, pagkatapos po noon, sinabi po sa amin ng Office of the Senate Villar na we are not authorized to provide financial assistance under the law ng Coco Levy. So, sa amin naman po, alam namin na yung po yung inihingi ng mga coconut farmers. Ahanin po nilang trainings kung wala rin po silang capital assistance.
Kung nasa 25 million yung financial assistance, ano nangyari?
Madam Chair,
So, sinoli na lang
it was
ninyo.
reverted
At yung
back again to
250
the
na
principal.
pinamigay sa mga co-op, binalik? Ganun ba yun?
Then, nabigay na po sa kanila, Madam Chair. Kasi
So, ano
late na
nangyari?
sa amin
That
sinabi,
was in 2022, Madam Chair.
2022,
In the first
yes.
year of implementation, there are financial assistance.
About 2022.
Yes, there were financial assistance and training
Ako
given.
din yung kausap CDA. Kaya lahat ng co-op hilo sa inyo. Pati ako hilo na rin. Okay, next. Oo. So, pero we're now talking about 2023. Tapos na yung 2022.
Yes.
Oh, ano nangyari? Bakit sa 2022, yung legal opinion, walang no processing plant, no plant, and also no financial assistance? So what are you allowed to do with the money?
Training na lang po. Yung training na lang po, Madam Chair, na component nung...
250 million sa sangkatutak mo training. Kaya hindi ninyo nauubos.
Yes, Madam.
Kaya nasa 23.6 lang ang disbursement.
Yes,
ninyo.
Madam. Yes, Madam Chair.
How many farmer associations have been converted to full-on co-ops? If you can provide me a coherent timeline, Director Haliasgo, can you give me a coherent timeline for the expenditures? Yung 2022, pakihiwalay sa 2023, please. Yung 2023, hiwalay din at pati yung 2024. At nakakahilo po kayo mag-present. Ilan ang cocoa farmers co-op associations already converted to co-ops? Ilan na ang cocoa farmers co-op ngayon?
The number of coconut farmer organizations that are assisted to coconut farmer cooperatives, we have 629 po,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, I have that in my notes of how many farmers are now members. I have that also. Yeah, that's fine. I have that. How many farmers belong to those 629 co-ops?
18,330. po,
Okay,
Madam Chair.
this 18,000 represents what percentage of the total number of coconut farmers? Sa madaling sabi, ilan na sa sektor ng mangnyunyog ang naging miyembro na ng co-op? What percentage? Ilan ba talaga ilan ba ang target ninyo na cocoa farmers? What's the target number of cocoa farmers? Ako na mag-compute.
50,018 po, Madam Chair.
Ha?
50,018 po ang ating tina-target
Ganon.
up to the end of the program. So 50,018.
Oh,
So
okay
we
nga.
have already 18,000.
Is nasa 30.
That's 36%.
Yeah.
36%.
Yeah, that's little over 1/3. So you're not giving them any financial assistance. You cannot also subsidize capital requirements for co-ops.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, maybe you have a copy of that legal opinion. Did you appeal it? When did it come out nga? Kasi wala naman kayong dokumentong dala.
February
Alam naman ninyo
12,
ito yung
20,
issue dito.
February 12,
Alin yung DOJ?
yes, ma'am.
February
February
12, 2024 po, Madam Chair.
So ano daw allowed lang? Puro training.
Training po.
Eh sino
Madam Chair.
magbibigay ng capital assistance? Dapat PCA.
Maybe other implementing agencies po, Madam Chair.
What are the convergence programs, if any, of the CDA to avail of assistance from other agencies that you're pointing to now? Meron ba kayong MOA? Meron ba kayong LOI para sa PCA o DA o DAR o kung sino man?
After the
Diba? Kasi nag-training kayo. Ngayon, na-training ninyo, umaasa ngayon tong mga mangnyunyog, na-training na ninyo, dinatapos na, mag-graduate kayo, di nakatunga nga lahat yan, nag-iintay. Anong gagawin nila next?
na-endorse po namin sila sa mga ibang implementing agencies.
Oh,
ma'am.
such as? May MOA ba yan? May kasunduan
Yeah,
ba kayo
yes.
sa For example, kanino kayo ang pinaka-key, anong kasunduan ninyo with PCA? Nagte-train kayo, tapos ibabalik ninyo sa PCA, sila magbibigay ng financial assistance. Paano po ba to? Meron ba kayong MOA sa PCA?
Yes, ma'am.
Anong sabi ng MOA nyo? May PCA MOA kayo? Asan? Nakasaad ba doon na talagang sila ang magbibigay ng kapital pagkatapos ng CDA mag-train?
It's not
Anong sabi
explicitly
ng
mentioned,
MOA?
ma'am. But one of the agent,
Paano ninyo i-endorse? O sige, pumunta kayo, kumatok kayo dyan sa PCA, eto address. Ganun lang ba yun?
Madam Chair, so
Wala ba kayong kusang mga MOA sa PCA? Yung mga may pera para dyan, yung DA, yung DAR.
PhilMec, ma'am, we have.
Ha?
PhilMec po.
Anong kinalaman ng PhilMec?
Once they're done for mechanization program, ma'am.
Bibigyan ng PhilMec?
Yes, ma'am.
Your MOA is only with PhilMec?
Yung sa
Hindi,
DTI,
pero hindi naman capital puro makinarya lang yan. Wala bang financial?
sa DTI naman po, we are not very sure if there's a financial assistance, but they are being trained on their marketing.
Yusek, ikaw ang boss ng CDA, hindi mo alam kung kanino kami kasunduan, if at all? Yusek, alamin mo naman, oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Hindi ko trabaho to, ikaw dapat.
Noted.
Late pa rin ba ang release ng admin funds sa Coconut?
yes,
Your last, yung 2024, when was it released?
the 2024,
2023 muna, when was it released?
sa 2023 po, Madam, wala naman pong admin funds na binigay. So yun yung 225 na nag-revert kasi nga
Okay.
yung processing plant. Sa 2024,
Okay.
we have received the admin fund last September and we deposited it to the
So, September. So
Yes,
last
Madam.
quarter na naman.
Yes, Madam. And Madam Chair, and
Tapos,
We-
last quarter na naman, tapos you only have 3 months na naman.
yes,
to-
Madam Chair.
Okay, the other issue is the personnel. May personnel ba ang CDA para lamang sa CFIDF?
Basically po, Madam Chair, yung ating mga field CDSS that are doing the usual mandate of the CDA, they are also the ones doing the function for the CFIDP program.
So wala kayong additional hires para lamang dito sa perang to?
Wala,
No
Wala pa po.
specific COCO hires,
Yes, Madam Chair.
COCO fund hires.
Wala po.
Walang item, ganun ba yon?
Wala pa po, Madam Chair.
Ba't hindi kayo kumuha ng contractual or something or job order man lang for the meantime? Or outsource the effort?
Yes, Madam Chair, that's one of the plan and the program.
Yes,
But
but
then the amount to be paid for that will be coming from the administrative fund or cost. So it was downloaded just this September. So we are now looking for the 3 months for the last quarter to hire somebody
ito
so that we can implement.
nasa 3 taon, 4 na taon na to, hanggang ngayon di pa natin alam.
No, Madam Chair, yung sa job order at saka COS naman, the amount to be paid will be coming from the admin cost. So the admin cost was downloaded just this September
How much is the admin cost?
for 18 million po. 18 million for the
Ilan ba
CDA.
yan?
Kulang po talaga, Madam Chair, para 18 million that is to be allocated to all regional offices na kasama doon sa CFIDP program.
So you actually have hired people, but your earlier statement na walang na-hire is not correct.
Wala pa po, ma'am. Wala pa talagang na-hire na people for
Yeah,
CFIDP.
JO and contractor.
Yes, we will hire JO and contractor.
You
Upon the
will-
download,
But
you will
have
hire.
no hire. You have
Yes,
not hired.
yes, Madam Chair.
So what happened to the 18 million?
For ano pa man po, it's still in DBM, we will be asking ibigay pa po sa amin, Madam Chair. Kasi once it was given by PCA, it was deposited to
Was it given or not given, and when?
No, it was given by PCA to CDA in September. We deposited it to the Treasury and then we requested it to DBM.
PCA, kasi sila dapat ang gumastos.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Bakit September? Bakit hindi mas maaga?
There are issues doon din, kasi before the release of the administrative cost, Madam Chair, there is a MOA again with the PCA with regard to the admin cost. So parang doon ata lahat doon lahat ata sa MOA, Madam Chair, medyo natagalan. So September na po na-download sa amin.
Ang MOA.
No,
Anong
ang pera.
MOA yun?
One of the requirement for the admin cost is the MOA, Madam Chair.
MOA with whom?
PCA, with
And
PCA and
PCA.
CDA.
Yeah, of course. That would be the first order of business, clearly.
Yes, Madam.
So bakit natagalan? So
Yes,
kailan
Madam
natapos yung MOA?
Around mga August
August of?
Madam Chair, this year, 2024.
Bakit parang Yusek Cabo, sabi mo hindi ka sure kung may PCA MOA? Tapos lang pala. Last month lang.
Yes, ma'am. The admin cost requires MOA, but I was referring kanina, ma'am, yung
Sa
financial assistance. Yes po, ma'am.
Hindi kasama?
Well,
Ma'am.
not
Okay, so I'm unable to endorse your budget to the Mother Committee. You have to provide a justification, firstly, for doubling your traveling expenses, given the reduction in your budget. Also, I need a coherent timeline or at least a procedural format for the PUV modernization vis-a-vis OTC and LTFRB. Further, I need as well a report. You know very well that many of my colleagues, including Senator Villar, will question us thoroughly with regard to the CDA and the annual allotments of 250 million under the COCO Development Fund. So I need to understand the DOJ legal opinion. Can you please make a timeline that everyone can understand, and let's not apply 2022 explanations or excuses to 2024. Yes, I also need to understand the issue of the admin fund and the lack of personnel. So with that, we terminate the hearing for today, but you will have to come back with the documents requested. Thank you. You may go now.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay. We proceed now. Well, so the assets, liabilities, and equity indicated here are part and parcel of the cash management plan that has been effected upon COA's recommendations. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Chair.
All right, that's fine. So I think, as I said earlier, I still have to understand the timeline with regard to the opinions on the CIC. mananatili ba kayo na mag-isa o sasakupin na kayo ng Bangko Sentral? Kaya medyo nalilito kami rito. I believe that there's a date. This was discussed last year, and I believe what happened was the national government has to continue to hold 60% of common shares. And then there are a series of opinions from the Government Corporate Council. Kailan ba to? 2022 to?
For the opinion of the Office of the Government Corporate Council for privatization, that is actually in 2018, Madam Chair. It is through a letter dated September 13.
Okay, and what happened then? I think this was discussed last year, di ba? Tapos ano nangyari noon? Yung September, ayun, wala. Yeah, it wasn't included kasi in your submission, and I have incomplete records. So, you said September 2018, the Office of the Government Corporate Council said that privatization is not by mere operation of law, but in fact required a favorable recommendation from the GOCC. Tama?
Let me clarify, Madam Chair. It's from the GCG.
GCG, yeah. Okay. So the GCG has since declared that it is favorable or not favorable to privatize. What's happened since?
Madam Chair, so actually to clarify, this was not specifically taken up last year. It was the matter of deactivation with BSP. But let me answer your question directly.
Oh, sige. Can you there have been twists and turns in the opinions regarding your existence, so therefore, can you just walk us through this? You had this first opinion from the Office of the Government Corporate Council in 2018. Ano nangyari pagkatapos noon?
That actually didn't push through precisely because the GCG did not make a recommendation for the privatization of CIC. Therefore, our supervising agency, the SEC, withdrew the motion or the request to the GCG to conduct the privatization. So the privatization matter never pushed through, and it was actually withdrawn back in 2018.
When did the GCG recommend to the SEC that the CIC be deactivated and all its functions be transferred to the Bangko Sentral?
I believe that was in 2022, Madam Chair, but to clarify...
So when did SEC withdraw the privatization? I have no dates.
That was in December 2018, floundering. Madam Chair.
Sorry?
December 2018, way before.
So way before. Kaya nga, pero thereafter, GCG recommended that your function should actually be transferred to the Bangko Sentral.
It is actually the Office of the President that issued that recommendation. That was a June 27, 2022 memorandum circular.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
I have some kind of information from the GCG as well here, so I'm not certain.
Ma'am,
where it derived.
Yeah, the documents we're referring to are the ones that we were furnished. So there might be other documents that we did not officially receive or were notified of.
To the best of your understanding, therefore, it came from the OP?
Yes, Madam Chair.
In 2022. So why are you still here? It's already 2024.
Madam Chair, my understanding is that the GCG requires a certain clear directive from the Office of the President about ordering...
They need another directive?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
But I thought the OP already said that you should be transferred to the BSP. Nalilito ako.
The subject OP issuance only expresses a no objection to the recommendation of the GCG. I believe, so we were not furnished a copy of this, but the GCG issued a memorandum in February 9, 2022, but we were not furnished a copy of this document, Madam Chair.
Wait, nauna yung GCG memo kesa sa deactivation of the CIC?
Yes, Madam Chair, I understand.
Tama ba yung kwentong to? Parang may nauna tapos biglang binaliktad?
I think the way it works, Madam Chair, under the GCG Act is they will recommend to the...
Kasi yung GCG, meron silang memo circular, di ba? Dalawa, sa matter of fact, to deactivate. Parang ganon. And thereafter, instead of deactivation, biglang transfer to BSP. Somebody can't make up their minds, not just women.
Let me clarify, Madam Chair. So the way it's supposed to work, because it involves the destruction of a GOCC, the GCG makes a recommendation to the Office of the President, which is the one that makes the call to deactivate a GOCC, because we are part of...
That's not quite right, but I'll go with you on that. Okay, since you're being shunted from one office to the next, and in the meantime having to operate under your own devices, what would you like? What would you like to happen? Dapat ba kayo nasa BSP? Dapat ba kayo ma-privatize? Siyempre, ayaw ninyo ma-privatize. Humihingi pa kayo ng pera. Ano ba dapat mangyari sa palagay ninyo?
Madam Chair, thank you for the question. I think we should continue as we are, given that we have a positive momentum.
Under the SEC?
Under the present law, Madam Chair, Credit Information System Act, or RA 9510, which presently puts us under the supervision of the SEC.
Kaya nga, so you want to remain under the SEC.
In the meantime, Madam Chair...
Why not the BSP then?
We are just concerned that at this point, since we are already improving our operations and activities, that a transition, whether we are privatized or transferred to the BSP, might stunt this stabilization and upward trajectory.
But one day, surely credit information rightfully belongs to the BSP and other regulatory.
Yes, eventually, Madam Chair, you're correct.
Do you see a timeline in your future?
Madam Chair, my understanding is this will require a legislative amendment. So the timeline...
That's what we're here for.
Okay, that's correct, Madam Chair.
Kaya nga, tinatanong ko, ano kaya yung maganda? Kasi palipat-lipat na lang, kanya-kanyang opinion, wala naman nangyayari. Hanggang ngayon, naglilimos pa rin kayo, tapos walang kaliwanagan. Di ba mas maganda, magplano na kayo ng sariling buhay nyo? Tapos i-recommend nyo sa amin at gagampanan naman namin ang aming katungkulan. At kung kinakailangan amyendahan ng batas, amyendahan namin. Pero kayo mag-recommend, kabisado nyo yung trabaho nyo eh.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Kesa kung ano-ano nangyayari sa inyo between the GCG, the BSP, the Privatization Council, kung saan-saan kayo nahihila. Di ba mas maganda sabihin na ninyo sa amin, anong nais?
I agree with that, Madam Chair. But since this will require us to consult our stakeholders, especially to kind of consider our recent performance, we will need to work together.
Your recent performance is a broken promise. That you wouldn't come next year. Diba? Sabi niyo last year. De, biro lang. I mean, good effort. But anyway.
Point taken, Madam Chair. But going back to that point, we are just proceeding with an abundance of care because we are dealing with so much data now. And we want to make sure that this is protected because this is the data of our citizens. It is their virtual asset that we are the ones primarily protecting.
But you would have thought that there's greater data privacy in a bank than the SEC? There have been leaks from the SEC, we know that.
Madam Chair...
Ask the business community. Katakot-takot na chismis yan.
I'm not aware of those leaks, Madam Chair, but for us, right now we do have a 5-year plan under our information system strategic plan.
Sure. I respect that. The problem is that we really need to finally understand where you belong.
That's correct, Madam Chair. So
yes, even your 5-year plan for data privacy and greater cybersecurity cannot be implemented if we're not clear as to your home. So I think first things first, we have to determine the organization to which you belong, di ba?
Yes, that's correct, Madam Chair. To clarify, presently we do not receive any funding from any other government agency.
Understood.
Yeah.
I'm talking about organizationally, so that it's most efficient, better secured. You're complaining about the onslaught, for example, of submissions. Surely the DICT, for example, could have helped. There's also there are other communications offices in the entire country. You have no access to them as you stand alone today. You would have if you were reorganized.
With respect to that, Madam Chair, so we do coordinate with them, but we of course know that the onus of defending the data and setting up the systems are with CIC. But we do have a good relationship with the ICT. We coordinate with them for technical assistance and advice. But in terms of funding the operations, procuring the necessary security systems, that is on us. But I do agree with your main thesis, Madam Chair. Our organization could stand to be refined and rationalized further. But as to the timeline for that, I do apologize.
No,
I cannot.
I think the onus is upon you, since we see that you've just been operating on your own, virtually unattended by anyone, and yet you're asking for more money year on year. So I think you have a responsibility to plan forward and recommend both to the legislature as well as to the executive the future of your operations, ano? Kung saan ninyo gusto manatili. Yung SEC parang hindi tama eh. Sa pakiwari ko lang, ewan ko, kaya yung BSP andyan.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Kasi ang sabi ng SEC, wala rin silang pakialam sa kilos ninyo eh.
Actually, Madam Chair, our supervising agency has been quite supportive.
Yes, of course they're supportive because they don't mess with you. They don't meddle at all in your operations, di ba?
We are given a wide berth, Madam Chair.
There we go. Ayun. So, I think at a certain point, given, as you said, the value of the assets that you're holding, the quantum of data and information that you have access to, certainly you have to be regulated by someone. This floating status is unacceptable, I believe. Baka may masuggest kayo para mas efficient kayo, at the same time mas secure. Now, the entire amount that you're requesting is for data security. It's all for cybersecurity, for tightening controls, etc., which of course we acknowledge and understand. We've had more than our share of data break-ins. So, naintindihan natin yon, pero kailangan siguro aralin rin ninyo kung saan tayo papunta, no? Yung direksyon ng ahensya.
Tama po yun, Madam Chair. So, as I mentioned earlier, we do have an internal policy to pursue fiscal sustainability and independence. It just so happened that the promise for this year had to be broken because of unanticipated surges in data, which require us to ask one more time for the help of the national government.
Sure, but these hearings are to finalize the budget and to exercise the power of the purse of the legislature, but also they are at the bottom, fundamentally in aid of legislation. Perhaps you can help us in aid of legislation. So I think I shall endorse this budget, but pending your submission of your recommended situation organizationally, so that we can put an end to the GCG and other queries that arise from time to time. Para matapos na yung diskusyon at maliwanagan na yung CIC at pati ako kung saan kayo patungo. Okay, maraming salamat. And with that, the Finance Subcommittee I endorses to the Mother Committee of Finance in the Senate the budget of the Credit Information Corporation with their request of a further national subsidy of over 62 million pesos, largely for information and cybersecurity expenditures, 62.302 million. Thank you very much. You may leave. Thank you.
We submit your honor and your honor, and we thank you for your indispensable support to the CIC.
Thank you, Attorney Baltasar, and we now call on the Philippine Competition Commission and its head of agency. Thank you. You have 2 minutes to shift. Thanks. from the Philippine Competition Commission to Subcommittee I, and perhaps the head of agency, Chairman Michael Aguinaldo, would like to present his budget, or at least its salient points that differ from the preceding year. Thank you. Yes, Chairman.
Yes. Good morning po.
Yes, good morning. Teka muna, I forgot. Beth, I think you need to recognize the resource persons. I also forgot earlier. Doesn't matter. Okay. Mamadali eh. Yes, Secretary Agas, please recognize all those from the Competition Commission, please.
For the Philippine Competition Commission, they are represented by Chairperson Michael G. Aguinaldo, together with Commissioner Mara Victoria Querol and Commissioner Michael Peloton, as well as Commissioner Lolibet Medrano and Commissioner Ferdinand Negre. For the Commission on Audit, they are represented by Supervising Amado Ablao, together with Mr. Roderick Castañeda. For DBM, they're represented by Acting Chief Budget.
Yeah, slide number 20, please. Ito yun, di ba? Oo. Baka iba yung number. The next two slides, please. Yan, okay. Yes, shown on the screen is the comparative matrix from the 2024 GA and the 2025 NEP, which shows a reduction of 71.3 million from our budget of this year. And as compared to our proposed budget for 2025, the reduction amounts to about 116 million. And so we are hoping that we have a wish list.
16 million, since I wasn't privy to the request to DBCC, what did it constitute?
Okay. Some of these items were items that were deducted last year, but which Your Honor helped restore in the budget.
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
Kinaltas na naman po.
At hihingin rin ninyo yan eh. Unahan ko na kayo.
Oo nga po, ma'am. So, more or less the same items, but there's an additional item that we've requested. More or less the same items, but there's an additional item that we've requested. Your Honor is familiar with, it was in the news that the University of the Philippines has agreed to lease to us or give us by way of use of a piece of property in their grounds to put up a building. And so we signed the memorandum of agreement a couple of months ago. And we're already in the process of going through the possible designs, which we have to work with the university on since they have strict guidelines. And so we would need a budget for what they call the Detailed Architectural and Engineering Design, or DAED.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what adds to it. Otherwise,
and how much is that?
About 30 million.
And what is the anticipated cost of the building, construction and everything na?
Yeah, their estimate is it's going to cost about 1 billion pesos because it will consist of 9 floors with 2 basement parking spaces. In fact, the University of the Philippines...
So that's for a total square footage, you have any idea? We're fixated with that due to our Senate building problems.
1.9? Yeah, I think the floor...
Siguro you can submit it na lang.
Yes, we'll submit the details.
There are mathematicians in the Senate who will immediately break that down on a square footage. So thanks. Okay, I'll do my best. Carry on.
Yeah, and now the budget that was decreased, just to give you an idea of what it contains, we do have 4 what we call I stations. These are like satellite offices that you find in Cebu, Davao, Baguio, and Lucena. And so the rental for that, and we have job orders manning those stations, so their salaries are dependent on any additional funding we can get. And then there are other items like maintenance of the data center. Most of these are MOE, operating expenses. The only capital outlay we have is for purchase of motor vehicles because magre-refleeting na po. Yan yung basis po nun. And then we do have, again, like last year, the GOP counterpart for a foreign assisted project.
You have motor vehicles. What was submitted to me, wala kayong CO. Meron pala. Mali pala to. Ang nandito ng ICT equipment. Meron kotse?
Yeah, well, the zero kami sa DBM for capital outlay.
Okay. That's why what I have here is zero eh.
Yeah.
So you're saying that, in fact,
yeah, what we're asking for in
for
capital outlay is 30 million for the DAED, the design.
right.
About 3.8 million for the replacement of ICT units.
I see.
And then purchase of motor vehicles and related expenses, about 13.8 million. These are nine motor vehicles, I think.
Okay.
So about 47.6 million.
What's the rest of the 116?
We do have the GOP counterpart for foreign assisted project. If you may recall, ma'am, we do have a loan from ADB that has three components. A lot of it is capacity building, training, and creating a center for excellence with UP. But then we have to shoulder as our counterpart taxes and the honoraria. So it was cut out, so we're asking if it can be restored. Totals about 25 million.
Why was it removed since it's a foreign obligation?
I don't know why, but they always excise it from our budget.
So do we always not pay for it?
No.
How does it work?
Last year you restored it, so we were able to pay for those expenses.
Yeah, kakaya naman.
Ay,
Di ba obligasyon natin? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Ano pa? Anything else?
Actually, that's just it. With respect to the loan proceeds, what they did last year was they just introduced an item in the unprogrammed fund. Para lang may item.
The infamous unprogrammed funds. Okay.
Because the money's with Treasury naman.
Correct.
They just need an item so they can release it. So even 1 peso actually is fine.
Right.
But last year, what the BICAM put was 76,000 pesos. Just so may item siya.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Thanks for the clarification. There's question about the plantilla positions in 2025. And it has to do with the discrepancy between the authorized and actual salaries of 40 positions of 29.970 million, which consequently means that there are only 204 positions funded in the 2025 budget. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Medyo nalito ako doon.
Yeah,
What's the reason?
What DBM does nowadays is they only give us funding for filled positions as of the time, what's the cutoff?
September, when they submit to us.
As of December. Yeah, as of December.
Yeah.
If we're able to fill those other positions, the unfilled positions, then we make a request for DBM and they'll release a budget to us for that.
That you're saying as of December last year?
Yeah, as of December last year, no?
Tama ba? So the real number today in September of 2024?
What's our plantilla number?
Just to clarify how many permanent positions PCC actually has.
Actually, right as of June 30, we're down to 194.
Nabawasan
positions.
pa?
Yes, we do lose some people sometimes to other government agencies.
Is it government agencies, not to the private sector?
Yeah,
so it's clearly salaries?
Mostly government agencies. Yes, because the salary structure of PCC it's different from the SSL. So the problem is, while initially the salaries are quite high compared to the national government, it doesn't have the annual adjustment that you have when you have SSL. So they've been adjusted twice by small amounts, I think in 2019 and then last year by, I think,
So you
8%.
lose people?
Yeah, I think that's one reason. So they go to BSP, I guess for obvious reasons. NEDA is another place they go to. For lawyers, our lawyers sometimes they become prosecutors, or they, they're probably intent on becoming judges at some point, so that's why they leave. But we don't have a problem hiring. We do get people, but then, as you know, the hiring process,
can't keep them.
Takes a little long. So there's a bit of a gap.
Yeah, it's a little problematic because 194 is quite a bit less than 244.
Well, 244 is the total plantilla. What was filled last year was 204, and now we're down to 194. But we're continuously hiring. We're actually planning to upgrade our organizational chart because we're able to see ano yung kulang, what we need more of, what we maybe need less of.
Right.
And so we'll be working with DBM on the revision.
So, yes, I think it seems clear that aside from the salary structure, like you said, na ang hiring okay naman, tabla-tabla, pero yung promotions and increases are so slow. Pero I think in addition to that, you probably have to reorganize.
Yes.
Simply because the Philippine Competition Commission was something we embarked upon without much thought or experience.
Yes.
So we will be needing your help, and if you need any legislative action, we're certainly open to it, knowing full well that this is a work in progress. Nakita rin natin yung performance nung COVID, nung pandemic. Medyo magulo yung provision. Hindi siya naging effective, ano?
Yeah.
Kaya sana mas maging matugis to. Yun. And that's why I just took note of this, of the plantilla, because I think you probably have to break down into smaller bureaus, desks, offices, units, without meddling in your operation. It seems clear that you have to break it up a little bit.
Yes, there's certain departments or divisions that we need to expand or create subdivisions in that perhaps were not really anticipated before, but from experience we've seen, okay, we need to do
How long
this.
have you been in operation na nga?
The PCC was set up in 2016.
2016, ano?
The law was passed 2015. So,
Right. 2016 siya nag-operationalize, ano?
Yes.
Oo. So, you received allotments of 1.275 billion and only 613 million was obligated, or only 48%?
Yeah. Yes, the bulk of
What's the reason for the low obligation, low utilization of foreign assisted projects ba yan?
the foreign assisted, because what happened was for 2023 it was included in the budget of PCC, and I think that was about 288 million. 288 million. And so when they were looking at budget utilization, they included that, even though that 288 was not meant to be spent the entire year. It's meant to be spent over a
For how long
longer
dapat?
period. Well, it's supposed to end next year. But we've been talking to DOF to possibly extend it 2 years because we lost 2 years due to COVID. We weren't able to...
Wait, but this is 2023. Wala ng COVID.
Oh yeah, yung sa 2023, pinasok po kasi sa budget yon.
Yes.
In 288, but it wasn't intended to be utilized for the entire year. It's supposed to cover, again, 3 different components. And it was never the plan that it should be done within that exact year.
What are these projects? Just to get a handle on
A
it.
lot of it is really capacity building and training. So it includes scholarships. We're able to send people to the UK, EU, to the US, Australia, quite a bit. And then we're also, it's also supposed to be for materials and improving our processes. And lastly, we're supposed to, with the University of the Philippines, establish a Center for Excellence in Competition Law and Policy. So that we also have to work with UP because they're the ones who are supposed to manage it. And I think that's the bulk of the remaining budget is for that.
So the 288 was the remainder. And what about this the still outstanding 600 million plus or minus? Kasi 42, ang sabi dito, Ang actual disbursed is only 48%.
Yeah, here. Yes, yeah, if you remove the 288,
right.
Yes, then that means that our obligation rate would probably fall on maybe about the 76% rate.
Okay.
But and part of the reason for the not too high obligation rate was we had 3 new members of the commission last year. I came in February. Commissioner Beth, you were January, I think. Yeah, and Commissioner Ferdy was March.
Okay.
And they're new, like Commissioner Ferdy is new in government, so there's an adjustment period how to work on the budget and all
sure.
that.
Okay.
So we're hoping this year it won't happen. I think
right.
we're on track this year.
If you could provide the breakdown on those foreign assisted projects,
Yes.
and if you could name them, simply because someone might ask
Yes,
in
yes.
plenary. If you have a carryover from 2023 from the pandemic, siguro isama na rin yun?
Yes.
So, you're saying we're going to need another 2 years to fully implement the project. So where are we? Are we midway through the completion of this project?
Oh, there you go. The Center of Excellence. No? Yeah, for the first 2 components, we've caught up already, I think, from the delay caused by the pandemic.
Okay.
But for the third one, because we have to rely also on the University of the Philippines, so we need better coordination actually, kasi medyo mabagal yung process. But they're trying to tie it also to the building that will be created, because 2 floors out of the 9 floors will be owned by UP, and they're supposed to use that for that center.
I see. I see. So, what accomplishments of PCC can we tout for 2024? Were you able to file cases, secure convictions? We're extremely bloodthirsty here in the Senate.
Well, we were our enforcement office already filed the statement of objections on the Onion case, where the allegation is that there are 12 players that formed the cartel, and what they were doing was dividing up the market, including the importation and including the permits for importation, the SPS. Yeah.
Was that
yes, it's
filed
been
na?
filed with us, and
then what did you do since?
we're waiting for the answers of the respondents. Only one, I think, has answered so far. But
so the cases haven't been filed. This is ongoing.
It's ongoing. It's ongoing. Actually, we'll be adjudicating that case. It's an administrative case. The criminal aspect is being studied with the Department of Justice, because the threshold needed for a criminal case is different from needed
Of
for
course.
us. Yes.
But I understand there are already convictions within the DA. Is that a separate
I think it's a separate
set of cases? Because they're exactly what you're speaking about,
yes.
the Onion cases.
Yeah, I think this was the sale to
FTI.
FTI, yes.
Oo.
This is different. This was, I think they purchased at a high rate and they sold it
At a low rate.
at a low rate.
Parang ganun din yung FTI.
Yun po. That's the one in FTI.
Right. Paano to?
Ito,
Monopoly. Well,
cartel.
cartelized.
Yeah, basically what happened was in 2023, the second half, the price of onions up to, I think, January of 2024 went through the roof. And it turned out that this group...
Pero pareho yan, Tumutumbok yan.
Yes,
Nagbebenta kami ng sibuyas sa Ilocos, kaya kabisado ko itong mga kasong to. So, pinaghiwalay ba yan? Kasi, bakit yung isa may conviction na ito pending pa rin?
It's a different case sa kanila because
Talaga?
the ones sued there were the government officials
DA,
of
yeah.
DA. They were sued criminally before the Sandigan Bayan by the Ombudsman. This one, we're looking at how they divided the market, which caused the increase in the price.
Are there any major mergers and acquisitions that are being monitored or evaluated as we speak?
Yes, I think the biggest one is the LNG terminal, which involves 3 companies that are, one is SMC, the other one is Aboitis, and the other one is Meralco. That's ongoing. And then we also have the this GCash. No? Yeah.
Sorry?
We also have a transaction between GCash and ECPay, a proposed acquisition.
Anong pangalan?
GCash.
Oh, GCash we know.
Yeah, and ECPay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ano yun? ECPay is local?
Local, foreign owned, but local. Local. It's local. Yeah.
Okay. So, siguro, ang hihingin ko sa inyo, yung listahan ng mga kontribusyon ng PCC sa ating negosyo. Yung report ninyo, walang hambog walang konting yabang. Kailangan kasi maglista rin tayo ng accomplishment to justify increases. Like we did last year, I sort of cobbled together some kind of accomplishment report, and I'd appreciate if you could do that. Necessarily, they'll involve cases filed, prosecutions, if any, mergers and acquisitions reports, and whatever contributions you have made as an agency for securing fair business, competition, and compliance, and basically just improving the notorious monopolistic tangent of our business in the Philippines. So, kung pwede lang, mag-report rin kayo ng nagawa ninyo para yun rin ang basehan ko para tignan ulit yung mga binawas ng DBCC sa inyo. Okay, with that, I have no further questions, and I think with the submission of some partial reports and a clarification on your foreign assisted, yung clarification lang ng foreign assisted and some kind of accomplishment report, some bragging rights to a few things here and there to justify an increase, if any. And with that, I am able now to endorse to the Mother Committee from Subcommittee I, the Mother Committee of Finance in the Senate, the budget of the Philippine Competition Commission. Thank you very much. And you may go. Thanks.
12, Senator.
Spot. Yes, I think you've all been waiting patiently. Yes, thank you. Is everyone here? Yes. All right. Who's going to be presenting your budget? I don't see Mr. Quijano.
I will, Madam Chair.
Okay, Apollo Reche. All right. Thanks. If we can make it very brief, I'm really hungry, and I'll be even in a worse mood. We'll call on our secretary first to acknowledge the presence of the National Commission of Senior Citizens.
For the National Commission on Senior Citizens, we have Dr. Mary Jean Loreche, together with Commissioner Raymar Mansilungan, Lieutenant General Ricardo Reiner Cruz III, Commissioner Enriqueta Rodeles, Commissioner Dr. Idaya Patron, Active Executive Director Emmanuel Daes, and for the Commission on Audit, they are represented by State Auditor 3 Miguel Trabok. For the Department of Budget and Management, Director 4 Sofia Yanto Abad is with us. That's all, Senator.
Thank you very much, Secretary. And Dr. Loreche, you said you were going to be presenting. Let's be very quick. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. May I have for the first slide that would be presenting to you the fiscal year 2024 NEP versus the fiscal year 2025 NEP. And as you can see, Madam Chair, that there is a marked increase in our allocation for the budget by around 112,073%. This is from 26,926,000 to 3,035,236. That will account actually for the expanded centenarian cash gift and the centenarian.
Yes, we're aware of that. We sponsored it. Thank you.
Yes, so that will show our NEP. And for the next slide, that would be the fiscal year 2025 budget proposal versus the 2024 GAA. Again, the agency specific that we are requesting is 5,533,108,000. This will also cover the expanded centenarians for a portion of 2024 when the law was signed. And the next slide, of course.
The law was hanging?
On March 17 of 2024, because 2025, Madam Chair, the budget that was given to us will cover January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2025. But when the law was signed on March 17 of 2024, there was no provision for the expanded centenarian cash gift.
That's right. Laws are not known to retroact, however.
Yes po. So, kaya po yan naka-reflect lang po dyan, just in case na i-consider po ito.
I think that will have to be a separate request to DBM and doesn't constitute part of your budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the next slide that I would like to show would be the transferred programs from DSWD to us, to NCSC. That is the assistance to older persons that was transferred to us at 1.7 million last March 20 during the signing. And we just want to inform your Madam Chair that the NCA from DBM was only released August 27 of this year, and the Land Bank of the Philippines.
Yes, carry on, sorry.
Opo. And the Land Bank of the Philippines issued the check booklet for us to be able to disburse the assistance to older persons just most recently, September 24. That's why it will be reflected there that our utilization at 518,334.14 is the only amount that we have disbursed to the OSCA FESCAP meetings and the institutional support to NAPSI. However, with the release already of the check booklet from Land Bank last week, then I believe that we would be able to utilize the remaining 1.4 million from the assistance to older persons. The next slide. The next slide, Madam Chair, is only on the Expanded Centenarians Act for Republic Act number 11982, showcasing here the number of physical targets of individuals that will be receiving the expanded cash gift and the centenarian, 275,342 individuals, and the administrative cost computed at 1.96%. The next slide, of course, will show how the allocation and breakdown of the cash gift, including that of the administrative cost of 1.96%. Next slide. I think I would like to show, of course, the financial performance. This is a historical fund utilization.
Yes, we're aware of that. How long is this presentation? Is there much more?
I think there's only 2 more slides,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Okay, please proceed.
So this is a historical fund utilization showing an average of 53%. But the next 2 slides will, of course, show how we are today, that as of June 30 of 2024, we were able to utilize 43% of our budget, and as of September 30, 2024 to date, we are already at 59% in our budget utilization. The subsequent slides will only show us the catch-up plan summary, but I want to focus on the hiring status because this is one of the milestones. We target that by October 30, we should be able to fill up all plantilla positions around 93%. As of September 24, we have filled up 182 of the 320, which is 57% already. So I think, Madam Chair, that is all there is for our presentation this morning.
Yes, thank you very much. And I have a few questions. So, right. So, my records don't match yours. You are saying that from 2021 to 2023, you had a utilization rate of 53%.
That's the average utilization, Madam
Yes,
Chair.
but as of June 2024, you only utilized 43%.
I think there was that's 50.
So it's not, in fact, improving?
It is.
Or is it?
It is, Madam Chair.
So for 2024, what is your utilization rate? I have 43%. That's lower than your average.
That's as of June 30, 2024, Madam Chair. That was June 30 only. But as of today, September 30, our utilization rate is at 59%.
I think the rightful cutoff is December 2024 for the budget of 2024. As of December 2024, what was the utilization rate?
For 2024, if it's June 30, then it would be at 43%, Madam Chair.
O kaya nga. So it's actually getting worse rather than better.
I would say, Madam Chair, that
no,
we
it
have
is.
improved.
These are numbers.
Yeah.
That's why we love math, right?
Yes.
It's because they're absolute. And 43 is 10% less than 53. Yes, I think DBM wants to rescue you. Yes,
Please.
Director Abad, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam
Po.
Chair. Let me just explain po that their utilization as of December 2023 was only at 52.86%. So when they reported a 42.72% as of June 30, it can be thus considered as a marked improvement already, considering that's already first half of the year vis-a-vis the 52.86 annual BUR in 2023, Madam Chair.
Okay, thanks. Therefore, as of today, do you have any improved numbers from June 2024
yes,
to
Madam
the present?
Chair. As of today,
So from January 2024 until today,
we have
what's
already
the utilization rate? It's not 43.
Our utilization rate is already at 59%, Madam
September?
Chair. As of September 30,
September 30
today,
is what?
59%, Madam Chair.
Okay. So you're already better, and that's not December yet.
Definitely po.
Oh, sige. So I can report that there are, as you know, many who question the national security. What's the status of the field offices? Meron na ba?
Yes po. We have
So ilan
already.
na yung field offices, just by way of information?
There's already, for the offices itself, Madam Chair, there's 11 functional already. There's 5 more under procurement. So that should be 16 because we have 16 regional offices, supposedly the entire country. As to filling up of plantilla positions, we are already at 53%, Madam Chair. Ongoing recruitment right now, and yeah.
Divergent numbers. I have 49%. So paano naging 53? Nadagdagan na mula sa submission ninyo?
Opo, Madam Chair, as of September 24, we have already 182 plantilla positions filled up, which is 57% out of 320 that is allocated to us,
Teka,
Madam Chair.
you just said 53%. Bakit naging 67?
Which one? Filled up positions, Madam Chair, is 182 out of 320 as of September 24, which
Kaya
is
nga, so that's
57%.
57 or 53 kanina?
57% po, Madam Chair.
What's the problem? Why is it so difficult to fill up the remaining position?
I think,
Nangangalahati pa rin kayo eh.
but Madam Chair, by October 30, we would be at 93% already filled up position. This, I would like to explain it in this manner. That
Mababa ba yung sahod na binibigay ninyo? Ba't ang tagal?
I think it's not really the sahod, Madam Chair. There are two things here that we have to consider. Number one, prior to the suspension of our existing chair, the hiring and the recruitment, including the interview, has to be by panel. So meaning to say, it only happens once a month. But after he was suspended and upon convening the rest of the commissioners, we have decided that for those who are in the lower ranking positions, that should be given to the commissioner in charge for the interview together with HR and HRMPSB.
Okay, that sounds like a very reasonable change. What else are you going to do?
And there are a lot of selected positions already that we have finished in terms of our hiring. But because of the limitation of the authority granted me by the Office of the President, I cannot sign the contracts of newly hired plantilla personnel.
Who has to hire them?
Po?
Who has to sign the contract?
I'm supposed to sign that, Madam Chair, as the OIC, but it was not indicated in the functions that was released to me when the Office of the President issued the authority for me to be the OIC.
Oh, so have you asked for...
Yes po, several times already, Madam Chair, and the latest that
when
we have...
was the first time?
We immediately submitted that in August. And then, I think August 5, we submitted
but
a
that's
request.
2024.
Yeah. And then, our latest letter was last week. And we received already a notification from the Office of the Executive Secretary to write him, again, the list of personnel that we have to sign, including the remaining plantilla positions that I need the authority to sign, Madam Chair.
I see. Thank you. Can you enlighten us on the assistance to older persons, the ATOPs? What have you accomplished? How many beneficiaries? What are you giving? It's a program that we're not very well informed about. You mentioned earlier something about the Land Bank giving you the checks finally, and that therefore you will be able to disburse with greater expediency.
Yes, Madam Chair. This assistance to older persons is actually a program under the Department of Social Welfare and Development, and we were given the balance of 1.7 million budget for the entire year. We had the MOA signing sometime in March 20, and since this is a trust fund, we really need to process this separately, and the NCA was only released to us August 27 of this year, and our checkbook for us to be able to issue the payments for the claims was only
You
released
mentioned
September
it's a
24.
trust fund. Can you explain?
It's with the Bureau of Treasury, Madam Chair. So the fund will have to be via from DSWD again to the Bureau of Treasury, and that has to be transferred to us. And so we had to process.
It goes from Treasury to DSWD muna?
Galing po ng DBM yung release para sa amin po.
Teka, pero nabanggit mo DSWD? So,
Opo, galing po
kasama
sa
pa rin ang
DSWD.
DSWD o
Opo,
hindi
sa
na?
kanila po galing yung fund na yan, Madam Chair.
Nasa DSWD pa rin ang pera?
Hindi na po, na-transfer na po sa amin. Bago lang.
Pero yung ATOP, nasa DSWD?
Kata-transfer po sa amin, Madam Chair.
O kaya nga, bakit binabanggit mo na from Treasury pupunta pa sa DSWD?
Kasi po, continuing appropriation po siya, Madam Chair.
Pero diretso ang release ng DBM sa inyo, di ba?
After
wala ng
going-
DSWD para
Wala
sa
na po, sa amin na po
2025.
yan ngayon.
Nasa
Opo.
inyo na yan eh.
Opo.
Oo, yeah. Oo.
In August 27 po, nasa amin na po yan.
Okay, fine. All right.
And this assistance to older persons, Madam Chair, if you you notice in one of the slides that I presented, based on the guidelines that is given to us, not transmitted to us.
Yes, can you just give us the general terms of those guidelines? What in general?
It's really more of assistance to the various organizations for senior citizens, support for their meetings.
Oh, it's for the organization.
Yes po. It's not direct giving to the individual
I see.
older
Support
person.
to the organizations. How many
Yes.
organizations do you have registered with you?
Right now, there's around... Ilan na na? Yeah, this is via the Federation for Senior Citizens Association of the Philippines. So, ibig sabihin po,
I know
one per
that.
barangay.
I'm a little bit lost with the FSCA.
Opo.
Dahil, meron rin kayo rito na hindi naman kayo nakakapag-accredit. Kanino niyo ibibigay ito kung hindi nakakapag-accredit? Sana nga ba yun? I recall an item here indicating that you had trouble
Nasa
accrediting
registration
these
pa lang kami,
associations.
nasa registration pa lang po kami, Madam Chair, kasi nga po, hetong programs na ito ay kalilipat lang po sa amin. Pero accreditation of the FESCAP, nasa atin po yan. May guidelines po tayong ni-release niyan.
No,
And-
right now, I understand that
Wala pa.
5 applications were received. All of them were rejected for lack of sufficient documentation. Paano kayo magbibigay sa ATOP kung wala kayong ma-accredit na mga organization?
I believe, Madam Chair, kasi they need to have their SEC registrations po. Bago po natin sila ma-accredit at maibigay sa kanila.
Kailangan ba ganon? Do you have to be so... No, my point being that who are you giving the ATOP to if you're not accrediting any...
Sa ngayon po, Madam Chair, what we have right now is only the FESCAP kasi sila pa yung nandun sa kasama nung sa DSWD na na-transfer sa atin na accredited. At saka yung institutional support to NAPSI Council. So kasama po yan sa ating binibigyan ng support.
NAPSI?
NAPSI, yung kanilang institutional support to the National Anti-Poverty Commission for Senior Citizen Sectoral Council, Madam Chair.
No, I don't understand. So, FSCA and NAPSI, yan dalawa lang yan ang binibigyan ng ATOP?
Sa ngayon po, ganyan...
Dalawa yung party list ninyo. Hindi kayo makapag-accredit ng association? Ba't ganun?
Yung sa FESCA po, Madam Chair, sa
Parang
ngayon...
napaka-top heavy naman ng sistema ninyo. Unang-una, nag-interview kayo ng clerical, ng driver, by commissioner. Ano ang trabaho ng executive director? Sino ba executive director?
We have an acting executive director, Madam Chair.
Sino
and
nga?
Si Director M. Daez.
Oo. Di ba dapat yung executive director kung yung mga driver, janitor, ganyan, clerical,
Ganun na nga
kailangan
po.
pa ba yung commissioner?
Ganun na nga po yung ginawa namin after the suspension of the chair, Madam Chair, Madam Senator.
Kasi i-interviewin pa by panel yung
That
mga
was really what
janitorial service, ganyan.
that was what happened
security
before.
guard. Okay. So you're not doing that anymore.
No
But the
more
problem
po.
is I don't understand the ATOP. You've only accredited... Who have you accredited? Sa madaling sabi. Kasi according to your submission, you haven't accredited a single one of the 5 that applied.
Yung accreditation po for senior citizens organizations ay kasama po sa programs natin.
Understood.
So,
But how
opo.
many have you accredited? I just need a number.
I will
This is a
give you,
budget hearing.
yeah, I will give you that number later, Madam Chair. Let me have my team work into it.
Apparently, it's 0.
Comremark,
Yes,
please.
Commissioner.
Madam Chair, yung pong ATOP is...
So yung nasa...
Okay.
Yung nasa...
Yung pong accreditation is still being performed by the DSWD. Kasi yung pong standard for accreditation, yun po yung isa sa ayaw nilang ibigay sa amin because we don't have the training. So yung pong registration, yun yung aming ginagawa ngayon.
Bakit
You just
kayo
have to register.
nakakapagbigay ng ATOP kung hindi ninyo alam kung
Hindi
sino
man po ma'am
pagbibigyan?
required yung accreditation sa ATOP. Doon po sa guidelines ng DSWD for ATOP, hindi po required yung
Hindi ba dapat i-align yan?
accreditation.
Hindi ba dapat i-align yung registered? Otherwise, ba't ka magre-register? Kahit hindi ka mag-register, makakatanggap ka ng tulong eh. Anong silbi ng accreditation and registry?
Because ma'am, dun sa provision ng RA 9994 on the appointment of the OSCA head, ginamit kasi dun ma'am sa IRR yung word na accredited by the DSWD. Ang problema is that
Yes,
the
but the
DSWD does not
IRR
accredit.
cannot amend the law, no?
Yun nga po ma'am yung sinasabi namin. Kaya yung DSWD, when they gave us the ATOP, nakalagay na po yung pupuntahan because
So,
this was spent.
sino? Again, let's go back to the first question. Sino ang binibigyan ng ATOP? Sabi nyo, EFSCA, NAPSI?
FESCAP, Madam Chair. FESCAP, this is the Federation for Senior Citizens Association of the
Paano
Philippines.
yung mga OSCA?
Meron po tayo.
Bakit yung EFSCAP lang? Bakit wala yung OSCA?
Heto po kasi yung binigay sa atin na guidelines po na tinransfer ng DSWD ng DSWD po kung sino yung dapat bigyan nung ating ATOP na tinransmit nila na 1.7 million. So
EFSCA, walang OSCA.
Meron po kami ngayong dinagdag dyan, Madam Chair, which is the use of the ATOP fund in empowering the various Office of the Senior Citizens Affairs or OSCAs in the matter of trainings, leadership, governance po.
Okay. I still don't understand why we cannot align. Don't you think it's a good idea to align the accreditation of senior citizens organizations with the endowment of ATOP assistance? Di ba dapat naka-align yan?
Dapat po. That should be the case, Madam Chair.
Since it's being transited na to your office, sana magawa ninyo ng paraan.
Yes po.
I need to go back to your database. Are you anywhere near a database? That's always been the bone of contention. How many senior citizens are actually in your registry? Or do you have a registry? The last time we talked, it's all PhilHealth.
If you look at the online registration po natin, if the online registration, that's already almost 7 million registrants there, 6.7 million plus. But in terms of the master list, for those who will be for the expanded centenarian cash gift and centenarian, we believe po that based on the physical targets from PSA, we are almost approximately near that number. So if the PSA...
Wait. Never, wag mo na yung e-centenarian. So it's a different story.
Opo.
I just need because the e-centenarians only involves the seniors every 5 years. I'm talking about the whole universe of senior citizens. Sabi mo, online 7 million, which constitutes how many in the total PSA? Di ba nasa 11, 12 million yan?
That's around 60%, Madam Chair.
Okay, 60% lang.
Opo.
Ilan dapat?
Kung titingnan natin po talaga yung 12 million based on PSA, then we should be able to reach 12 million. But apparently there are...
You only register online, walang in-person sa mga barabarangay?
Meron po,
saka
Madam
sa
Chair.
LGU.
Kasama po yan sa mga OSCA at saka sa LGU.
How do you intend to expand your database to encompass all 12 million? Kasi kung puro online, mahihirapan talaga.
What we're doing currently, Madam Chair, is really to coordinate closely with OSCA and the LGUs. So yun pong mga LGUs na wala pong capacity to be able to transfer the hard copies of these applicants po. Pwede po nilang ipasa sa amin at the regional offices. Tinutulungan po natin yan para maipasok siya on the online registration po.
So it still has to be online? Kaya lang physical entry doon sa field office?
Sa ngayon, using that online registration that was created by NCSC, that's correct. But right now, we have some modification whereby we really want to just gather from the local government units. Kung ano yung data nila, yun na po yung gagamitin natin because then that would be a better source of information po.
Yes, but how do you verify it? Ang problema.
We do.
You won't be able to cross-check the LGUs.
We have a
Baka
way.
maging PWD rin yan. Parang PWD listing ng LGU na lahat na lang may PWD card.
Meron naman po tayong people on the ground. Our team are on the ground to do some
How many employees
cross-checking.
do you have?
Per region po natin, we have around 2 focal persons for this.
My goodness, that's almost nothing.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll be able to verify all 42,000 barangays. That doesn't seem like a very practical or realistic
But with the
procedure.
addition po kasi, Madam Chair, for the implementation of the expanded, we will be hiring additional COS po kasi. And we believe that by doing that, we would be able to expand further the number of persons who will be gathering the data on the ground po.
I think the purpose of the expanded centenarians is entirely different from the completion of the database for senior citizens. Parang wag niyo asahan yung expanded centenarians kasi yung expanded centenarians is starting from scratch, mas lalong wala yun.
Sa totoo lang po, Madam Chair.
Can't you make an arrangement with PSA? Can't you do a
PSA
MOA
and the
with
ICT.
PSA?
Yes po. We're planning to work with the ICT.
Mag-MOA na lang kayo with
Opo,
PSA para
and PSA.
mabilis yan.
Yes, we'll do that, Madam
mag-MOA
Chair.
na rin kayo with the Liga ng Barangay.
And including siguro the DILG to help us out on
Well,
this.
Liga ng Barangay more directly.
All right, we'll
At
do
saka
that,
yung
Madam Chair.
PSA.
Opo.
Kasi ang bagal-bagal mag-database ng National Senior Citizen. Yung national ID na hawak rin ng NEDA at PSA, hindi ba pwedeng i-integrate yan?
Pwede po. Isa po yan sa ating ginagamit ngayon para sa ating EDMS.
Yes, but maliban sa ginagamit, nag-usap na ba kayo ng NEDA?
Not yet with NEDA at the national level,
Well,
but at the regional level, yes, we have started.
The instructions need to derive from NEDA National
Yes po.
as well as the PSA.
We'll do that, Madam
I
Chair.
think you have to fast track that. I think that's really the first order of business is to identify the seniors in the first place.
Opo, we'll do that, Madam Chair.
Also, I think we have to do some housekeeping. COA found that cash allowances and liquidation reports under the traveling expense local account had some non-compliance with the most economical airfare, delay in submission, etc. You're aware of this?
Yes, Madam Chair, and
How has this issue been addressed?
We have addressed all those issues, Madam Chair.
It's fairly large sum. This is a lot of traveling. It's 12.5 million.
Yes po, Madam Chair. We have already addressed this, and as a matter of fact, we have an internal implementation already of the omnibus guidelines for travels under EO 77. So I believe that in the next budget season, this would not be reflected as such.
Yes, but have you reached out to COA to rectify?
Yes po, Madam Chair. We have already
But they're still
discussed.
carrying this in your report.
Yeah, we did already discuss this with them, and this
Ano sabi?
rectified na po yan, Madam Chair, yung mga travel disallowances na po yan. Nabayaran na po yan ng mga personnel who are supposed to be, whose attentions were already called.
May I have the report then?
Yeah, we'll give you a copy, Madam Chair.
Yes, because COA already noted that 34 audit recommendations in the 2022, barely 18 were implemented. The remaining 16 were ignored. As of today, has anything been done about the 16 unattended COA observations?
Yes, Madam Chair. As of last week, when I had a meeting with our team, we already addressed that, and we can give you a submission on the updates of this.
Sige, para lang maklaro, I need the COA. Is there a COA representative who can tell us yes or no? Are you familiar with the audit observations for the PSC? Oo. Pa-update lang. What's your name? Miguel Trabok from COA. Sige, if you could tell us, dun sa 34 audit recommendations, can you update us? Kasi 2022 pa to, hindi pinapansin. 16.
Madam Chair, our current data or evaluation of that previous findings is that there were 16 unimplemented audit observations. Among the 34 audit observations po, Madam Chair, 18 were implemented for last year, and then
That's
for...
what I said. What happened to the 16? Yung 16 lang tinatanong ko.
There is an update for the 16, Madam Chair. 12 of them were implemented, and then there were 4 which remain to be unimplemented po as of August 12, 2024.
What are those 4, and why is it taking almost 3 years to rectify?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I answer those 4 partially implemented?
Oo, ba't ang
Based-
tagal?
Isa po,
Tatlong taon na tayo.
Isa po yung opening of the trust fund account for proceeds from sale of bid documents. Pangalawa po, yung accountant pledge to exercise caution and diligence in recording and classifying financial transactions.
Okay, kaya nga, ano na nangyari dyan?
For the opening of the trust fund, heto po, ongoing po ito. Yung accountant po natin has
Bakit
been...
ongoing? Tapos o hindi tapos?
Hindi pa ito tapos po eh. Pero as to the accountant on the exercise of caution, already addressed na po ito. On the property supply unit to comply with periodic preparation of the report of semi-expandable property, I already signed this last week, Madam Chair. And the in-house training for NCSE GOD FPS for fiscal year 2025, this is already scheduled, Madam Chair.
Okay. So, any comment from COA? Tama ba o hindi? So, you still have 4 outstanding out of the 16? Is that correct?
As per our latest validation, Madam Chair, it is correct po. There were still 4 which remain to be unimplemented as of
Okay.
August 12.
Sige, if that's the case, can you give me an updated report? Kahit 1 page lang para alam ko it's off the table.
Yes, Madam Chair. Though they communicated to us that they will be submitting an updated audit observations and status of implementation as of September 30.
Sige.
So we are still hopeful that they are going to submit it to us, Madam
So,
Chair.
sa palagay mo, matatapos yan before the year ends para matapos na tayo?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Should be the
Kasi
commit.
ongoing naman eh.
We are just hoping with the commitment of the management, Madam Chair. So
Okay.
if that is doable, then we...
The other item, of course, is the turnover. I think as of June. Ano na ang balita? What exactly has happened since there's been all sorts of news about your organization?
Our chair is, of course, suspended, and the suspension was served on July 10. July
Yeah,
10.
July
10
Okay.
at around 10:30 in the morning.
So, the suspension was issued by?
Issued by the Office of Executive Secretary. So,
Okay.
the suspension will cover the period from July 9, and this was received on July 10. And immediately after, we had our special emergency meeting by the rest of the commissioners. And of course, we wrote an official letter to the Office of the Executive Secretary requesting for an OIC.
Another, yes, so now you're the OIC, you have an appointment. Is
Yes,
that
Madam
correct?
Chair.
Okay. In the meantime, one of the accusing commissioners, Raymond Silungan, was meted a 90-day preventive suspension by Malacanang, but I see you're here.
Yes, ma'am. I reported back after 90 days because there was no other order. There was no order extending or terminating the suspension. So it was deemed to have served the suspension, Madam Chair.
I see. Has there been any response from your office, Commissioner, regarding the allegations of dishonesty, neglect of duty, misconduct, etc.?
Madam Chair, I submitted counter affidavit ad cautelam, which was perhaps the reason why there was
Can you
no.
share the same with us?
Oh, I will, Madam Chair. I
Thank
will
you.
get it.
I'm a little bit perplexed because the Office of the President found prima facie evidence and Hence, the accusations remain.
That would be the case, Madam Chair.
Sorry?
That would be the case, Madam Chair, until the OP issues or promulgates a resolution.
So in the meantime, you're waiting, but your suspension has expired. Is
Yes,
that
Madam
what you're
Chair.
saying? So you're still awaiting
Yes, Madam Chair.
awaiting
Waiting for the resolution.
the determination of the ES?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right. How many commissioners are there now?
There's 6 of us, Madam Chair.
How many should there be?
7, Madam Chair. Including the chairman and the OIC, the chairman, the CEO. So right now, there's only 6 of us.
So kulang lang ng isa?
Isa lang po.
Okay. All right. So, is there any information whether you're going to be getting another chairman?
I do not know, Madam
Wala bang
Chair.
balita?
Basta
Okay.
ginagawa ko lang po muna yung trabaho as a task by the Office of the President.
Okay. All right. Is there a transition plan from the SWD with regard to the larger sum, the social stipend?
In our last transition meeting with the SWD and our meeting with Secretary Rex Gatchalian, we have already agreed that, number one, on the centenarian, yes, that will be up to December 31 only from them because the budget...
Andito na yan sa 2025.
Opo.
Wala nang
Pero
problema.
sa social pension po, Madam Chair, yung pinag-usapan po namin na last would be mid of next year. We should be able to do the transitioning already for 2026, not 2025, Madam Chair.
It's huge.
Yes po. That's the reason why, Madam Chair, it should not be transferred to us unless we are ready. And we already committed
Are
our...
you going to be able to actually do it? I'm wondering, can you actually do it given that ilan lang ang tao ninyo?
With the filling up of all the plantilla positions
How
and
many would be a total plantilla positions?
320.
Yeah, but it's hardly...
But Madam
you're
Chair...
talking about the social stipend for
But-
millions and
but-
millions of people.
But Madam
involving
Chair, the
billions
contract,
and billions of
the
pesos.
contract of service is not yet included. One, number two, all those
So
COS.
you really do not want contractuals and job orders handling so much cash. That's been the problem with DSWD, and it's a budget that I also handle, and I'm familiar with the problems of security with regard to the cash as well as with the person.
That's true. We agree to that, Madam Chair.
O kaya nga, yan liit-liit naman ng plantilla ninyo. Paano kayo
Kung dadagdagan
mag-disburse
po
ng
yung
ganyan
aming
kalalaki ng bilyon-bilyon?
Kung dadagdagan po yung aming plantilla ng DBM,
Hindi,
definitely.
kung hindi tayo aasa sa kung ang kinakailangan, kung talaga may plano mag-transit, kailangan kasama doon yung sasakyan, kasama doon yung IT at yung arrangements with pay portals. In addition, of course, you'll need hundreds more of employees.
Isa po sa
And we already know that you haven't been able to hire in the past few years. So
I think that was a thing of the past, Madam Chair, yung lapses na yan. But what I can assure this
I
committee...
think mid-2025 is upon us. It will occur in 9 months.
Yes po.
I don't think you'll be ready in 9 months.
With digitalization and the utilization of other forms
Mahirap
of
yung
payment.
digitalization. Are you going to absorb the fees and charges that are deducted?
That's something to think about.
No, you have to. It's a serious deterrent from digitalization. We've had the same problem over and over. And kakayanin ba ninyo yan? You've just come out of a rather messy situation with your chairman and even with one of your commissions. So you'll be handling several billion here?
Allow us to make a presentation to you separately, Madam Chair, when we have already finalized our processes and plans and programs
Does
for the social
DSWD
pension.
think it should be transferred? We should ask them. Do you want to handle it? Parang ako, I'm very, very skeptical.
Well, una sa lahat po, Madam
Hindi,
Chair.
kasi nakakaproblema tayo sa leadership ngayon, hindi ba? Tapos
Yeah.
dadagdagan pa to the tune of almost 60 billion. Are you kidding?
That's the reason why, Madam Chair, that we were pegging
Kaya
it at
nakakatakot.
2026. Not next year.
Miski 2026, nakaka-nervous, Director Abad. Anong tingin niyo yun? Parang nakaka-nervous eh.
Po, nininervyos din po kami. Actually,
Ilan na yung empleyado ninyo, total?
Once we fill that up, all of it, 320 plus the COS.
Eh, yun na nga. Ano ba naman ang 300?
And, no, Madam Chair, 1,000 kasi yung COS na galing po ng DSWD na ita-transition po nila sa amin.
Maski na. Wala yun. Alam mo ba kung ilang libo ang kinocontractual ng DSWD?
Yeah, true.
A very, very discomfiting position if you consider the amounts of cash that they're carrying, the lack of vehicles that are safe, the personnel who are only job orders, contractuals, or worse, handling so much money. Eh, ito, napakalaki nito.
Yung maghahawak po na, dapat niyan, Madam Chair, should be permanent position.
Eh, kaya nga, yun din yung sa DSWD. Pero hindi naman mangyayari yan overnight. So, right now, it's DSWD, di ba? Aren't we just duplicating? Kaya naman ng DSWD. Decent sila na lang. Bakit pa ita-transition yan? Huwag na natin lipatin. Sang-ayon ng DBM dyan, sigurado. Kasi ang laki-laki ng gastos niyan eh. Ang problema kasi niyan, we are now evolving all these 4Ps, ayuda, may MAIP, may Kalahi Seeds, may senior citizens, may agricultural rice subsidies, may transport subsidies. Lahat ng subsidy na yan, kailangan ba ng hiwalay na ahensya, hiwalay na tao? Parang hindi yata dapat, ano? No, even as you make the transition plan and even as you provide us with a date, perhaps we can dig in deeper into the problem and understand together with the DBM as well as the DSWD the wisdom of even transiting at all. Baka mas mahirap yan. Kagagaling pa lang ninyo sa kaguluhan bilang organisasyon. Sasabak tayo sa halos 60 billion na pamimigay in cash. Parang nakaka-nervyos yata. At OIC ka pa lang, Dr. Loreche. Sisisihin ka samantalang yung kapangyarihan mo ay hindi sapat. Kasi OIC, di ba, lahat continuing, walang bagong kontrata, walang bagong programa. Nako, magkakaturoan ng labis-labis. Ako yung ninenervyos ng bongga. Wala. Fair warning lang po. So with that, with the request for the information with regard to first the registered recipients of the ATOP, the update on the COA findings, and what else have we mentioned here? And perhaps the update also on the cases pending against Chairman and Commissioner Mansilungan. With that, I'm happy to endorse your budget to the Mother Committee of Finance here at the Senate. And with that, we close the hearings and briefings on the National Commission of Senior Citizens. Maraming salamat po. Okay, let's call on the Secretary to recognize the representatives of the Climate Change Commission here to present and defend their budget. Yes,
Good afternoon
Beth
again,
Agas,
Senator. For the Climate Change Commission, they are represented by Secretary Robert Borge, their Vice Chairperson and Executive Director, together with their Commissioner Rachel Ann Herrera and Commissioner Albert de la Cruz. For the Commission on Audit...
Ilan ang commissioner sa climate change? Tatlo talaga? Okay. Pero bakit secretary level? Wala lang. Okay, sige, proceed.
For the Commission on Audit, we have State Auditor Joey Bernardino. For the DOF, we have Director John Narag. For DBM, we have Ben Gillette Suniga. That's all, Senator.
De la Cruz. Who's sitting next to Commissioner Albert de la Cruz? I'm sorry, I can't read the plastic. Ayun. Okay. Ilocano
DOF,
ka?
Senator.
Taga saan ka?
Director Janarag.
Taga saan ka?
Senator, province-wise Cagayan
Okay.
Valley.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I saw a whole slew of narangs yesterday. Okay, please proceed.
That's all, Senator.
Okay. Who will present the budget? Please keep it brief and just focus on the salient points and differences from the 2024 budget.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We're thankful for this opportunity to present to you the CCC's FY 2025 NEP budget. This will be 6 slides. Can we move to slide number 21, please? Which shows that the budget is at 170,153,000, which is 23.7% or 32.6 million higher than the 137.6 million fiscal year 2024 NEP budget. This includes 30 million budget for the approved information systems strategic plan, consistent with the Commission's thrust for continuous improvement and modernization, and to come up with a very strong data analytics and data governance on climate change. It also includes, Madam Chair, 7 million to pursue the directive of the President to implement the NAP, or the National Adaptation Plan, and the NDC. This, of course, is responsive to Chapter 15 of the updated PDP Accelerated Climate Action and Strengthen Disaster Resilience Objectives. If we can move on to the next slide, this shows you the tracking of the budget of the Climate Change Commission from fiscal years 2021 to 2025. And we see here again the increase from its NEP budget, and we're grateful for the continued support for the budget of the Climate Change Commission. For the next slide, we'd like to show you, Madam Chair, the utilization rate of the Climate Change Commission's budget from 2021 to 2024 comparison. From 2021, which is 81.63% utilization rate, it improved very minimally to 81.65%. The 2023, however, it improved to 87.07%. On the slide, it's 32.2% as of June 30, but as of September 15, 2024, it's at 56.4%, which means that it's on track if you compare the 2023 budget, which was 51.59%, or a 5% growth for 2024. For the next slide, we'd like to provide the budget dimensions by allotment and class. PS is 31.1%, CO is 4.8%, and MOOE is 64.1%. By PAP type, operations is 32.8%, General Admin Information System Strategic Plan is 18.2%, General Administration and Support 67.2%, broken down into General Admin Mandatory Expenses and General Admin PS as well. For the next slide, this shows you, Madam Chair, the priority programs of the Climate Change Commission for fiscal year 2025. This is the localizing of the National Adaptation Plan, the updating of the National Determined Contribution, enhancing LGU capacities in accessing the People's Survival Fund, certifying businesses and enterprises that will comply with the Green Jobs Act, and monitoring and evaluating climate change actions, as well as strengthening capacity of NGAs, LGUs, private sector, and non-state actors. With that, Madam Chair, we finish the presentation. If I can just mention, for ISSP implementation, we'd like to work on strong data governance for climate change. Therefore, it's important to note that we have there as a component the development of key information systems. With that, Madam Chair, we conclude the presentation of the budget of the Climate Change Commission. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And ang tawag nito, I have no dates on the projects that you have here enlisted. So it's a bit of an issue. Okay. So I'm unable to understand. For example, the only ones with dates so far with me are the People Survival Fund, but I don't understand why you count for 2025 projects dating from 2016. For the project development grant of the PSF, I have no dates. When were these granted? To 2 million?
Madam Chair, they were granted during separate years. The reason...
Kaya nga, for example, Bobon Northern Samar, kailan yan? Kasi pinaghalo-halo, dapat hindi kayo nagre-report ng kuan.
Okay, Madam Chair.
So kaya nga, kung na-report na, tapos na yun. Paano to?
The reason is these are still also being currently implemented.
So are you saying that, no, even if they were implemented, when were they granted? That's the operative date for me.
Thank you, Madam.
So ano to, yung PSF approved projects, Bobon Samar, when was it approved, the 2 million?
Northern Samar is March 1, 2022. For Besao Mountain Province, it's 29.
No, wait. Why Mountain Province? No, Mondragon, Northern Samar. I'm talking about another set of projects.
March. It's
Hindi.
March 1, 2022.
Which Samar are you talking about? Teka, yung Samar na nasa... Ngayon, alam mo, ang gulo ninyo mag-present, pinaghalo ninyo lahat ng ginawa ninyo mula kayo pinatatag.
We apologize, Madam Chair. We'll provide...
Alin dito yung Samar? Ang gulo nito. No, yung Northern Samar is under the Project Development
PDG.
Grant.
Yes,
PSF
Madam Chair.
approved project. Northern Samar, you say March 2022. Ang sumunod sa listahan nyo, Mondragon, Northern Samar din. Pambuhan, Northern Samar, Rosario, San Jose. Tama ba?
Yes po.
O kaya nga,
they're five
kailan
po.
ito pinamigay?
March 1, 2022 approved.
Pare-pareho?
Yes po.
Bakit sabay-sabay ito? No, I'm just curious.
Yeah, this was presented together, ma'am, during the PSF board in March.
And then, Besao?
Besao is November 29, 2023, during the 19th PSF board. November 29, 2023, during the 19th PSF board meeting.
So, they're ongoing? Is that the reason there are no dates indicated? I'm lost.
They're ongoing po.
Even the 2022 is ongoing?
That's right, Madam Chair.
Yes. It's very confusing because this was reported.
We apologize, Madam Chair. We'll do better.
You also made mention of Sarangani. It's not on the list. May Sarangani, August 2024. Wala sa listahan pero nasa SA. Anyway, if I could have a coherent list.
We can do that, Madam Chair. We will disaggregate.
And understandable.
Yes.
And can you put the dates? The dates are very important. Also, I need to know when these things will finish.
Yes, Madam Chair.
You've carried over Surigao since 2016. Tapos na ba yan?
Not yet, Madam Chair. It's
ano bang klaseng project yan?
Surigao.
10 taon?
Surigao was supposed to be a climate field school, but it ran into issues because of the super typhoon that struck it. And right now, we are in continued talks with the Department of Finance on how to address this. This was 2022.
2016 to 2022?
It was approved 2016, Madam Chair.
Kaya nga. And then, when was the money released?
It was released in several tranches. If we can provide the detailed listing.
You can't keep carrying it over 2016, 2017, 2018.
Yes, Madam Chair. We will provide better data.
Yung Camotes Island, Cebu, 2017. Kasama rin ba sa super typhoon yan? Hindi naman.
Hindi po. Hindi po.
Although they had Odette. Herona Tarlac, 2017. Bakit carry over? Ba't hindi natatapos ang project ninyo? Wala bang katapusan yung project na yan?
May katapusan po. If I may, Madam Chair, this is actually one of the things that we have discussed with the DOF, which sits at the the chair of the PSF board. We've noted, as again you informed us last year, that there are certain gaps in the implementation of these approved applications, and we're working on them. Right now,
I think there's a representative of the DOF
yes,
here.
yes, Madam
Yes,
Chair.
Director Narag, can you please explain what is the story of all these unfinished projects? Nasa 35% ang Herona Tarlac from 2017 to the present. Are we claiming another super typhoon? At hindi naman pumutok ang Pinatubo mula 1993.
Madam Chair, may I? Thank you, Madam Chair. Each project would have their own work and financial plan.
Yes, for example, the project in Tarlac, why is it taking so long? Or was it really intended to be a 10-year project?
There's no intention to be a 10-year project.
No, what was it supposed to be?
It's supposed to provide Herona with a...
ano bang project yan? Ba't kaya tagal-tagal?
This is an agri-project, agri-related climate resiliency project.
Nakailang planting cycle ka na? Wala pang katapusan.
Chair, ito for this particular project, it's really the
a
documentation.
4-year?
I'll check on the updated schedule, Chair.
How many? It's only an agricultural project. Nakailang planting cycle ka na?
Madam Chair, if I may, this also depends on the absorptive capacity of the LGU. Another one is their compliance with the typical
It's not a massive amount. You've
documentation.
only given them 13 million. The disbursed amount, as I see it, is only 13 million.
Yes.
Bakit magkaka-absorptive capacity ang Heron? I've been there a gazillion times. They're perfectly capable of spending that.
For this particular proponent
Kung kinaya
beneficiary,
ng Bamban, ilang bilyon Herona pa.
sir. For this particular LGU, Chair, thinks more of their compliance with the typical documentation. That typical documentation, Chair, is actually just within the usual COA, DBM type of documentation. So even that, for this particular, if I recall correctly, is their compliance
Isn't
with that.
there
Which we're
something
hoping
wrong
helping.
with what documentation you're requiring? If it's taking them 7 to 8 years to comply? You're now saying it's not an agri issue, it's a documentation issue. Kung documentation issue, 8 years mag-produce ng dokumento. Mabilis ang rekto kahit magpalsipika. Anong gusto ninyo? Ba't katagal-tagal nito?
It would also be related to their procurement. I mean, the typical implementation.
Ba't hindi na lang ninyo hintuin yung project? What was the project plan ba? Gano'ng katagal dapat yan?
I'll check on the...
It's not the only one. There's another one in San Francisco, Camotes Island, Cebu, 2017. Eto, na-accomplish. So what's
Completed
the
na, Chair.
difference between Cebu and Herona?
Between these two, Chair, I think it's more of the implementation din po.
Yes,
So-
precisely. But you have so many projects that are undone. Who's monitoring these projects anyway?
We work in a multi-agency structure, Chair. So we're working with the first CCC, DOF, and the Development Bank of the Philippines as our support also for the implementation.
To your mind, is it working or isn't it working? It's clearly not working. You're not finishing projects.
For these projects and also, Chair, of course, during the implementation, the pandemic also hit part of the implementation
These aren't pandemic
arrangements.
projects. They're derived from 2016.
2016 siya approved, Chair, but if I recall correctly, the signing was done, I think, around 2018.
May I have the original papers?
We will provide you.
I find
Chair.
it very difficult to believe that you have an agricultural project that actually lasts 8 years.
We'll
I think
compile,
that's
Chair.
rather far-fetched. Herona, San Francisco. Hindi naman komplikado yan, di ba? Komplikado ba yan? May papatayo ba napakahirap dyan? I'm curious also, why is there suddenly an occurrence of Ilocos Norte climate resistant? Ano naman yun?
For the province...
And when was it approved?
For the provincial...
May 2024?
That's
Alin
right.
yan?
That's right, Madam Chair. This was actually a part of the pipeline projects for PSF applications. and it went through the procedure.
Has any money been downloaded? Parang wala. Di ba?
Not yet, Madam Chair, because as per the process that has been identified by the board, there has to be a financing agreement that needs to be signed. So there were 2 additional projects that were applications that were approved by the board. 2 of them still need the financing agreement, and that includes the provincial government of
Kabagan,
Ilocos
Isabela,
Norte.
Katanawan, Quezon, wala pang download.
There are partial downloading in tranches.
And also Borongan, Eastern Samar. Ang gulo ng report ninyo. Pwede bang kumpletuhin ng datos? Wala akong naintindihan.
We will improve on that, Madam Chair. Thank you.
O, pati ito, Cortez, Surigao Sur. Ano ba to? Nag-download ba yan? Hindi. Wala wala nakasulat dito.
Yes, Madam Chair. We will include that in
yes, what is
better
it?
paper.
Do you know? Cortez, Surigao del Sur. Has the money been given or not?
Not yet, Madam Chair.
What are you waiting for?
It still has. It needs
June,
the financing
July,
agreement.
August, September. Maglilimang buwan. What are you waiting for?
Needs the financing agreement, Madam Chair. Actually, right now po, the DOF, in partnership with the Climate Change Commission, there's an ongoing capacity building program ongoing right now with all 19 LGUs to identify gaps and to further improve the process, Madam Chair.
Yes, it's very confusing. If nothing has been downloaded, surely the project hasn't begun. But it was approved? Are you telling me that these projects na wala pang downloading, na-approve naman siya?
These were not yet downloaded because they were approved in 2024, just this year, Madam Chair. So we will provide you the dates.
What's the process? I mean, I don't understand.
I'd like to defer
Either
to
you
DOF.
approve and then you download. How can you approve with incomplete documents? You approved even without a financial agreement? So it's no approval at all.
Madam Chair, if I could shed light lang briefly on how the processes are done. Of course, will be subjected to the usual appraisal and approval. The approval will just be on the project itself, and of course, authorizing the board to sign and negotiate and sign the appropriate covering instrument. In this case, financing.
That's truthful. It's only an approval in theory or in principle. Dahil wala pang download, wala pang financial agreement. So wala pa kayong pinag-usapan, wala pang pera.
Once we have the signed agreement, Chair, then we'll secure the...
Then don't put it in this list. Delete na lang from the list and put an honest, real, truthful enumeration of ongoing projects. It's not ongoing. It lacks documentation, especially the most essential document, which is financing. Tanggalin na lang ninyo. Parang nagluluklan naman tayo nito. Kasi meron pa kayong hirit dito na may Sarangani, may Claver, Surigao Norte, may Rizal, Kalinga, at kung ano-ano pa. You put this na nakapending. Pero in reality, all these others that you say have been approved are pending pa rin. Wala pang financial agreement eh. Yeah, let's put a more realistic. So ang ending nito, matatanggal lahat ng project na to. Dapat tanggalin to eh, wala pang pera eh.
Copy, Madam Chair.
So tanggalin ninyo lahat to. So all of these should... So in effect, the only projects continue to be the projects derived from 2016 to 2018. All of these listed as 2023 are in fact non-existent as we speak. Sabi mo kanina, hindi pa nabibigay. Wala, lahat yan, financing agreement not yet given.
Madam Chair will provide the updated list.
Itong Borongan, Eastern Samar, zero disbursement. Kabagan, Isabela, no download din. Katanawan, Quezon. Puros walang pera to eh. Lahat ba ito walang financial agreement?
Ma'am, for this one, no, it's just the, for instance, as Katanawan, Kabagan, it's just the completion of the pre-release documents for the transfer.
Pareho na rin yun. Wala pa, di ba?
Signed na po yung...
Download eh.
Signed na po yung agreement, but to comply lang po with the usual DBM COA, we just have to make sure there's a covering instrument before we download, Chair. So that's the current process, but we will revisit and as we are continuing to
But can you please
revisit.
delete it from the roster? It doesn't exist as a project until money's been given. This is a budget hearing. Yeah, so we're back to your old list, which dates from 2016.
If I may, Madam Chair, actually there has been partial downloading for this project, one in Maramag, Bukidnon.
Wala rito sa akin.
And then one
Magkano?
for the disbursement is at 7.76%, 9.8 million. And then for the Mountain Province Field School for Farmers,
Oh, yun lang. Okay.
there's 21.90.
Well taken, well taken. Yung wala talaga, Borongan, Kabagan, Borongan, Kabagan, Katanawan, Ilocos Norte. So,
Yes, Madam
tanggalin
Chair.
ninyo sa listahan, wala yan. Saka yung Cortez, Surigao, out yan.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay.
We will work together with DOF on improving the presentation
Tanggalin nga
team.
ninyo to. Itong approved amounts na tig 2 million, downloaded na. Itong PSF approved project development grant, Bobon, Northern Summer, yung hiningi ko yung date kanina. Ang gulo ng presentation, pasensya, hindi ko rin maintindihan, kaya pabalik-balik ako. Na-download ba itong tig 2 million o hindi?
Waiting for the documentation from the LGUs.
O di
Chair.
tanggalin
But the
din,
FA has
out
been
din
signed.
yan, approved out funding, lahat yan tanggal, out. Delete na nyo sa accomplishment report, hindi siya totoo. Pag tayo nag-iimbento ng project, hindi pa naman nabigyan ng pera yan. Global Environment Facility. Alin dito ang totoo, alin ang hindi. Po. Meron kayong pinaglilista dito? Ano to? Low Carbon City. Ano ba to? DENR LED. Coral Reef, Palawan. May nabigay na bang pera to? Ay, wala. Hard pipeline. I'm doing my best to understand. Your presentation is well nigh incomprehensible. Teka, asan na tayo? Yeah. Please, can somebody explain to me what the Global Environment Facility has done? Now it says the project site was from Palawan to Siargao. So now what happened? Undecided. Huwag na ninyo ilista. Undecided pala eh. Haba-haba pa nito. Inception meeting. It hasn't given birth. Stop. Delete. Ano to? Low carbon city development. Ano to? Wala pang date. Diyos ko, paano ba huhulaan to? DENR-led project. Ito ba? Can you help me here? I'm really, really lost.
DNR is the operational focal point.
Yes, I know, but how much has been released? When? Where? How? What is the intention of the project? Anong gagawin ng low carbon?
We will provide the updated list.
What does it mean? Has money been given or not? Grant, 4,280,000. Nabigay ba yan? Sino nagbigay? Co-financing, 46. This is a really lousy deal, by the way. The grant is 1/10 of your gastos. Nag-abala ka pa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will provide the a better list of...
I don't get this. Anong klaseng grant to? Wala pang 10% ng gastos mo. Ano ba to? Anong pinaglilista ninyo rito? Uy, lagay naman ninyo yung totoo. Nahirapan ako. I cannot. Hindi ko pwedeng.
Yes, Madam Chair. We apologize for that.
I'm only slightly psychic. I can't really...
Yes, Madam
Yes.
Chair. We will improve on the reporting for
What
this.
is
We'll
this? Technology needs assessment. DNR climate change. Approved for project preparation. Delete. Obvious ba? Wala yan. Under project preparation. Delete. Lahat yan, delete ano? Lahat yan wala eh. Sinulat lang ninyo. Huwag kayong magsusulat na wala. Kainis. Endorsed by focal. Endorsed. Wala yan. Can you please delete when it doesn't exist?
We
When
will
it's
do.
all in the planning stage, it's really of little or no interest. Green Climate Fund. Asa na to? Ito, date 2019, ang disbursement ng multi-hazard forecasting, 31%. Ilang taon ba to? Another 10-year project po? Green Climate.
Climate Fund, Madam Chair.
Uy, this is all your presentation. I'm just reading to you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. For this project, which Land Bank proposed on behalf of the country, I think it's a 5-year project po. So it began in 2019 approval, but the downloading or implementation phase only began last year, Madam Chair. So, ng pandemic po and, yes, ma'am. So last year lang po na download at nasimulan po yung, yes, ma'am. Nagsimula po and downloaded to Land Bank and Pag-asa as the main proponents.
Downloaded in 2023 to Land Bank?
Yes, ma'am. And DOST Pag-asa.
Dalawang pinagbigyan nila ng 3 million lang?
It's 10 million USD, Madam Chair, total. Yun po yung financing. But the downloaded amount to date, that as of the data we have, is 3 million.
Recipients. You're telling me there are 2 recipients, both Land Bank and Pag-asa. Eh, nandito, disbursed amount nasa 3 million lang. Dalawa pa yung pagbibigyan.
May I correct myself, Madam Chair? So the amount disbursed is 3.2. It's disbursed primarily to Land Bank po. Land Bank is the access entity. And then eventually, Pag-asa will implement. So meron din pong transfer between those 2 national agencies. But we will look into how much has been transferred to Pag-asa, ma'am.
How much is this supposed to be? 10 million?
10 million US dollars po.
Why is it taking so long? What are the circumstances?
Madam Chair.
Ba't ang liit-liit naman ng unang transfer?
Opo.
Di ba dapat nagda-down payment? Wala bang mobilization ng project? And I am assuming this is engineering and technology heavy. Because it involves forecasting. And yet we have this meager sum of 3 million. Aanhin yung 3 million?
Ma'am, only because the project is limited to 4 pilot sites. There are 4 sites, Legazpi, Davao de Oro, Cagayan, no? Palo, Leyte, and there's one more in Luzon, Tuguegarao po. So 4 lang, ma'am. Well, Land Bank also says to us they could have added more sites, but this was the very first submission they made to GCF, and they were still learning the ropes
design
po.
And you can add sites as you go along.
Hindi na po pwede, ma'am. Bale, ito na po yon, 4 sites.
So there are 4 sites on the eastern seaboard. Okay, so they're all Pacific facing. So you only need to forecast Pacific derived typhoons. Ganun ba? Nakakatawa yung project design. Eastern facing. Na-assume na natin yung West Philippine Sea. Wala nang paputok doon. Ganun ba yun? Nakakatawa kasi yung project for multi-hazard impact base. Okay. Ba't ganon? Ba't 3 million lang ang pinadala?
Ma'am, this is following the work and financial plan. There are activities that must be in sequence, and there are just initial workshops po.
From 2019 to 2024. Apakabagal naman itong sequence na to.
Yes, ma'am. Considering it's only been a year and a half, nagte-training pa po yung mga LGUs. In fact, they planned 1 workshop for the 4 LGU representatives for this month po, to capacitate them on forecasting.
I guarantee you that Palo and Tuguegarao don't need much training. We've had more than enough typhoons. Ano kayang training ang gagawin? Mas alam pa kaya nila kaysa sa atin?
Madam Chair, if I may, we'll work very closely with the DOF, which sits on the GCF board. If I may, actually, the GCF is increasingly under negative comments from the stakeholders, precisely because of the slow downloading and the slow processing of applications. And we'll work together with DOF, Madam Chair, to get to the bottom of this and to express our...
Are you saying it's worldwide?
It is a global issue, Madam. It is a global problem for GCF.
Yeah, that's why. That's what you should have said. Don't put it na here. Ang gulo-gulo nito. 33.17. It's causing more aggravation yata. Mag-iti-training pa ninyo. Typhoon ngayon. Abala pa sa lahat ng tinatamaan ng bagyo.
I think, Madam Chair, if I may again, from the perspective of policy, it really requires a lot of studying on our part to hold the GCF to account for what they need to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of finger pointing, but you know, there was a very recent flooding summit attended by all ASEAN, and you were absent. That was the one trip you should have joined. Ba't wala kayo sa Singapore noon? Libre ang turo ng Amsterdam sa lahat ng ASEAN. They identified the Philippines as one of the highest vulnerable, but they all decried the absence of anyone at all from the Philippines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll look into this. I personally did not receive any invitation, and we'll check po.
No, I think you should make it your business, uninvited or
yes,
as a gate crasher, you should attend these places where they're giving advice for free.
Yes, Madam Chair, we'll work on that.
It's quite embarrassing. They kept talking about the Philippines being absent. Kung saan-saan kayo nagbabiyahe, yung kailangan puntahan at binabaha tayo ng labis-labis, nag-absent naman kayo. Saan ka naman nakarinig ng ganito? Eto, agriculture. Ano to? The other project you have under Green Climate Fund, ano to? Can somebody tell me about this? DA, DOST, please, let's get to... Maaga pa ako dito.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Pwede ba sumagot naman kayo kahit paano?
This is our second national approved project po under GCF, proposed through the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, and the executing agency is DA and DOST Pag-asa again. Ang disbursed pa lang po niya, Madam Chair, since it was approved only last year, is 1.8 million out of the $26 million grant.
Were disbursed from, galing ba sa atin yan, or?
Ma'am, this is a GCF
no, but
funding proposal.
But the funding is from the Philippines or from overseas?
No, ma'am. This is from GCF, the Climate Fund.
Okay. Don't know. And what happened?
Madam Chair, if I may supplement, the project will be implemented in 7 years. The operational partners...
7 years?
Yes, it's 2024 to 2031.
And what's supposed to happen?
It's already happening. The preparatory and implementations underway.
What are they going to do?
It would provide early warning information system, among others,
and
of course.
It's going to take 7 years? Ang dami nang namatay. Ang dami nang nabaha. Parang, ang bagal naman natin mag-react. 7 taon. Ilan pa ang maaanod? Ilan pa lulubog? Wala lang. Okay. Adaptation Fund. Is there anything that can be reported about the Adaptation Fund?
None at this point, Madam Chair.
Okay.
The Philippines has yet to directly access the fund.
Why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long?
The focal agency for this, Madam Chair, is DNR. Will coordinate with them on this particular.
So what's the role of your commission?
We
aren't you more appropriately abolished and then located in the DENR? Kasi hindi ko naintindihan eh. Di ba nagra-right sizing ang gobyerno? Di ba obvious na kailangan ninyo DENR na lang?
That's one position, but there's also the position, Madam Chair, that the Climate Change Commission has to remain as it is.
Why?
While it's still a relatively young agency, there are cross-cutting issues that ideally under the RA 9729 can be better addressed by a commission po.
Why?
There are some...
Your performance wouldn't prove that.
I apologize for
No,
that, Madam Chair.
I'm not accusing you, and you're only new in any case. But there are clearly issues with the organizational structure because you can't get anything done.
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact, this is one of the...
So that's my point. Aren't you better subsumed under a proper departmental structure than attempting to stand alone and not getting very much done?
Madam Chair, if I may, this is one of the findings of COA on organizational reform. And in fact, we at the Commission, this particular cohort of commissioners, are working hard on the reforms that are needed and to make sure that...
Well, you know very well, coordination is a very, very bad word in government. It means you have absolutely no power, no budget, and very, very little staff. So there you go. All you do is coordinate. Parang NDRRMC yan. Hindi nakaka-respond kasi nga coordinating body lang sila.
Policy formulating.
Wala naman susunod sa kanila. Kaya nga, the move is for NDRRMC to become a FEMA or some kind of agency.
Yes.
At hindi na siya coordinating, liaising, and so on. Kayo rin.
Yes, Madam Chair. And we would have to say that based on RA 9729, that really is the mandate of the Climate Change Commission, policy formulating and policy formulation and coordination.
Kaya nga, that's the same problem we have in all these agencies. Yung mga early learning, policy formulation and coordination, ang ibig sabihin, walang mangyayari. Yun na nga ang problema dyan eh. Okay, anyway, andito yung mga COA findings ninyo, the usual. Okay. Ba to? Yeah, can you tell me about climate change expenditure tagging? Ano yun?
Climate change. Sorry, Madam Chair. Climate change expenditure tagging is a program between the Climate Change Commission, the Department of Budget and Management also, and this aims to tag the climate change related projects of our different agencies.
Kaya nga, which underlies the fact that you're a mere coordinating body.
We
just tag, di ba?
Yeah, we understand that, Madam Chair.
Kaya
in fact,
that's why how much can you get done? So what's the advantage of tagging aside from aside from pogi points na meron tayong climate change project?
We acknowledge this shortcoming, Madam Chair, and that's why we're working.
Yes, but the point is, you're not supposed to apologize or say sorry. What we need to do is to change the law in some way, retool the organization, re-engineer everything because it's not working. Apology is not what is required. What is required here is for you in aid of legislation to make recommendations because it's simply not working.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are working on that.
So
we are
you
aware
should actually go to some department that actually does the work like DNR. So who sets the standards for this tagging?
The tagging is jointly come up with by both CCC and the Department of Budget and Management.
By who? Sorry?
CCC and DBM, Madam Chair. There's that typology that has been...
ECC or CCC?
CCC.
You?
CCC,
So it's you and
DBM.
Who decides what are the guidelines for that?
This was through a joint memorandum circular, Madam Chair, between DBM, CCC, and also a joint memorandum circular from DBM, CCC, and DILG.
DILG?
This is for tracking of climate programs by the LGUs, Madam Chair.
Mas lalong wala silang alam dyan. Yung pulis nga, hindi masikaso, yan pa.
Again, Madam Chair, if I may, reference to stronger data governance and stronger data analytics. This is why this is a priority.
How many employees do you have?
Right now, we are 80. Sorry. Right now, we have 62 plantilla out of 76, Madam Chair, and then 65 COS. This partly also explains.
It's a very, very small office.
It's a very, very small office,
no,
Madam.
Kaya nga, that's why dapat magpaampun na lang kayo kaysa ganito. Anyway, what's the process for this tagging, and what happens when you're tagged? And what are the guidelines? I'm asking on behalf of the LGUs. You mentioned the LG. The LGUs are completely confused by this effort.
CCET, Madam Chair, again, is a joint policy framework of the DBM, CCC, and the LG. It's supposed to monitor and mainstream climate change.
Can you just respond to the question? What are the standards being utilized? What are the guidelines? How do you become CCT tagged?
For this, Madam Chair, we have...
What are the guidelines? Just answer, ano yung guidelines?
We have the CCET Decision Tree and the National CCET Typology Code Manual, which is used to identify...
Can we use human being, normal, mortal language?
Sorry, Madam Chair, this is the language that we have. But
it's
essentially...
not something I or the LGUs understand. You have to decode. This jargon's not helping us.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Even less impressing us.
In essence, first, the question is asked, does the main objective or one of the main objectives...
Does it have to be a main objective or a...
Or one of the main objectives, Madam Chair. There's a decision tree again for this. Does it articulate climate change adaptation or mitigation? If it's yes, then it's entered
What happens once it's tagged? Maybe you can just give me the simple standards outline.
It's ideally, Madam Chair, it's supposed to inform policy decision among the different oversight agencies. Once all of these data are
Sorry, if
collected.
you're an LGU, can we just make it really simple? If you're an LGU, you have a climate change project which is tagged. What happens next? Do I get punished? Do I get money?
No, Madam Chair. If you have
what happens?
If
so
you have the
you
CCT,
tag the project somewhere.
If you have the CCET,
what can the mayor count on?
If you have the CCET, it also goes into the process of LCCAP and
what?
this local climate change action plan, Madam Chair.
So
and if you
in nuts and bolts, in pesos and centavos, what advantage do I get?
If you have that, then this would be several steps closer for you to access also the People's Survival Fund.
Ay nako, kasasabi lang natin na yung People's Survival Fund 2016 wala pang ibinubuga.
Yes, Madam Chair, but perhaps...
So there's no clear advantage to the LGU. It's just an unnecessary feather in their cap to be tagged?
Madam Chair, perhaps if you look at it at the point of view of accessing again PSF, then there is
Pero
value
sabi
to
mo
that.
several steps.
It's part of the documentary requirements kasi, ma'am. And the function and what we need to do at CCC and with other government agencies is to further strengthen that capacity so it becomes not a burden but in fact...
so do you have a list now? Do you have a directory of all these tagged projects?
We have, Madam Chair.
Ilan na? Nakailan na sa directory?
One moment, Madam Chair. For LGUs.
Commissioner Rachel, would you like to answer? Or anybody who likes to answer, I need to get on with it. This is taking so long. Commissioner De La Cruz.
Yes, Madam, if I may. The budget tagging for local government unit will provide what we call the net zero by 2050 pathway, whether or not.
You know, this jargon's really not helping your cause.
Yes,
just tell me, what are the standards, what are the advantages, and give me a number, how many have you tagged, that's all.
Insofar as the local government unit, Madam, we're able to make the necessary communications training programs
May I
with
have a
around
number?
87%, ma'am.
May I have a number of
87% of the local government units were able to submit all the necessary documents for
So
them.
how many projects have you tagged as part of this CCET? I'm sorry, it's a budget hearing. It's just nuts and bolts. I need a number. How many projects have you tagged? If you don't have it, let's not waste time. Let's just proceed to the next 100 questions.
I will provide the details, Madam Chair, on this for LGUs as well as for national government agencies.
Can you tell me the number of projects? Kala ko you're tagging. How come you don't know how many you tag? Anyway, napapagod na ako. Okay. So, let's go back to the People's Survival Fund, since that seems to be the end-all and be-all of all these tagging. You've approved, according to you, 13 projects, 6 project development grants to a total of 19 LGUs. Out of the 1.3 billion earmark, 23.44%, or 306 million has been disbursed. Can we be clarified on the actual amount of the People's Survival Fund as defined under law, as we speak today?
Madam Chair, we'd like to defer to the Department of Finance.
Sige.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The figure, as the Chair has mentioned, is as of date. That's the disbursed amount. Now, the disbursements will follow the work and financial plan based on the agreed tranching.
I just need a number. What's the actual amount of the People's Survival Fund now?
Actual amount as disbursed, Chair, is the 306, as you mentioned. So it's confirmed, Chair.
No, what's the whole body of the fund? You're talking only about the amount disbursed. O magkano yung entire universe of the PSF? How much is the fund?
The entire
Kung 306 ang disbursed, magkano pang natitirang hindi disbursed?
That's roughly 1 billion.
Huh?
1 billion po. Because
Okay
the approved grant amount or the amount for PSF financing is 1.3 billion.
Kaya nga.
Yes. So that's the whole universe.
Now, you have just short of 1 billion still pending.
For releases lang po yun, Chair.
Oh, kaya nga.
Yes,
So,
sir.
because the total fund is 1.3, di ba?
Yes, Chair.
O kaya nga. So, what are the steps being undertaken to address these disbursement issues? After years upon years, you've... Kaya nga. Huh? Wait. Now I'm lost. You're saying that 1.3 is the approved or earmarked for PSF approved. Tama?
Yes, Chair. It's the whole approved universe
Okay.
since 2016.
But your fund is only 1 billion. Why are you approving more than you have?
Yes, sir. That's the reason why we're also requesting for a replenishment for this for the forthcoming fiscal year.
But you haven't disbursed. How dare you replenish?
Chair, I think the idea is to.
Teka, why are you spending more than you have?
It's not
Iba
yet,
Ilocano ka, anyari.
ma'am, ibanag, ma'am. But to answer the chairs, ano,
1.3 ang inapprove ninyo. Ang pera ninyo, 1 lang. Ba't
Yes,
ganon?
the gap, Chair, would be part of the replenish or expected, hopefully, the anticipated
And
replenishment.
if it's not, what happens?
If
You
it's not,
already
Chair,
earmarked and approved.
If it's not, Chair, then we'll mobilize other resources as we have been mobilizing. So,
Such as?
one such example, Chair, is we're working with the Green Climate Fund for what we call a PSF Plus to also support
The what?
projects. The PSF Plus, Chair, it's just a label for a proposed project pipeline with the Green Climate Fund. That is to complement po yung
But in the first place, ba't kayo nag-approve nang wala kayong pera?
the board decided to approve based on what has been requested by LGUs, based again, of course, on the appraisal
Naku,
being done.
Kailan nangyari yan? Mas politiko pa ang DOF kesa sa politiko?
With, Chair,
lahat ng request, tini-turn down ninyo. Ba't bigla kayo naglabis-labis pa sa may pera?
Chair, there will be no releases or there will be no sign of agreement without the appropriate budget, Chair. So what we're currently releasing are still based on the approved 1 billion. It's just the approval, which, for instance, so yung gap, Chair, will be...
I'd appreciate a coherent explanation of this excess approval. In writing, please, ASAP. Wala ko naintindihan, pasensya ha. Kasi hindi pa ako nakakarinig ng ganito eh. Yeah, I think I spoke about earlier. In your report, you said that you only had a proposal for Eastern Samar, Sarangani, Rizal, Kalinga, Claver, Surigao del Norte. They're all pending. And yet you're writing them up already as part of your approved project. Bakit ganun? Ano ba klaseng report yan? Nahihilo ako sa i-report ninyo. Tinatamad na ako magbasa. Yes, Secretary Borja naman. This is another topic. Bakit kasali sa approved projects ninyo? Itong mga projects na sabi ninyo, propose pa lang. Ito, yung Eastern Samar, Sarangani, Rizal, Kalinga, Claver, Surigao del Norte. I think I've repeated the list 3 times. Tsaka na. O sige, to follow na lang yung sagot. Inip na po ako. Wala akong sagot eh.
This is for field appraisals.
Hindi kasi pwedeng sumagot ng sirit dito eh.
For Municipality of Rizal, Kalinga, and Municipality of Claver, Surigao del Norte, while they remain to be pending, field appraisals need to be done po.
So what?
There are still, again, documentary
Why are you
requirements.
dishonestly, deceptively, albeit maliciously including it as part of your projects?
Madam Chair,
Why
that's
are they
not the
already in
intent.
your list of approved projects? Di ba dapat wala yan dyan? Andito eh, kayo nag-submit. Binabasa ko lang to eh.
Chair, if I may.
Ako'y hamak na tagatanggap ng mga pinagbibigay ninyo. Hindi ko nga maintindihan.
Chair, if I may, on behalf of the Secretary of the People's
Bakit
Rural
naging
Fund.
approved yan? Here we go again. Kanina, approved pero no financial documents, kulang sa COA at DBM. Di wala. Nothing disbursed either. Ngayon, nag-field trip lang, biglang approved na. Paano? Ano ba itong pinanggagawa natin? Po.
Ma'am, if I may, in the current process of the PSF board, they typically label, no? If it's approved by the board, then that's tagged as approved. That's the reason why what the Secretary and DFs forwarded is based on that
Again,
approval.
if it's been approved by the board,
if it's
this
been
one
approved,
was approved by the board. It says it wasn't approved
no,
by
sir.
the board.
It's
It's subject to the proponent's complete submission to the PSF board.
Tama po,
Ba't ninyo
sir.
linagay dito sa approved?
I'm just providing, Chair, yung various typology po muna. So may na-approve na project
Pero ito
based
hindi
on...
approved.
Tama, Chair. Then it will be subjected to further appraisal. That's why the reason why this is
Bakit sinama sa approved projects? Maski yung kanina, sinasabi mong approved, hindi rin approved yun kasi subject to documentary compliance.
Chair, we will relabel na lang po. Doon sa ongoing pa ho yung documentation, could be pipeline.
This is even,
or subject to
even
effectiveness.
more premature.
Madam
Parang
Chair.
binuloko kami rito eh. Parang binobola ninyo kami, naglilista kayo ng kung ano-anong pinuntahan ninyo para lamang magmuka na maraming project at accomplishment yung inyong komisyon. Pero ang totoo, wala naman. Nakapako pa rin tayo sa 2016 at 2017. Aminin natin, wag tayo nagpapad ng ating accomplishment. Pangit yun eh. At nagkakabukuhan, maniwala kayo't hindi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the intent here was to identify ways for the next steps and kasama po itong municipalities
No,
na ito.
the list is very, very clear. Approved projects.
Yes, Madam Chair, we will provide a better
I never
list for
asked you about ways forward. This is a budget hearing. I need to understand your budget vis-a-vis your accomplishments. Napapagod na ako, honestly. Pack up na ako dito. Ano?
Ma'am, if I may.
May I just recommend the abolition of this commission? This is absurd. Yes.
Ma'am, insofar as terminology is concerned, perhaps we apologize for this, but insofar as climate change is concerned, the work of the climate change for PSF is to provide and study the climate lens of the project. If the project is for adaptation, then...
I'm sorry, but the word approval,
Yes, Madam.
approved projects, has no other meaning. Which part of approved projects is confusing?
We apologize for that, Madam. But insofar as the accomplishment of the Climate Change Commission, Madam, we
Give me a list then. Not
Yes.
an approved project, but show me something.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
am I supposed to defend this na wala akong makitang matino?
Yes, ma'am. We provide the...
Kapulastugan eh.
We
Lista kayo ng lista eh. Napuntahan lang pala ninyo. Ako din, napuntahan ko rin yung Rizal Kalinga. Napuntahan ko rin ang Claver. At napuntahan ko ang Sarangani at Eastern Samar. Tagadong kami eh. Eh
Yes.
wala namang project dun eh.
Yes, Madam.
Eh ba't natin lilinlangin ang taong bayan? At bakit kayo bibigyan ng budget? Ba't ninyo sasabihin approved project? Hindi naman pala totoo. Aasahan niya ng madla. Aasahan niya ng mga waray. Aasahan ng mga ilonggo. Ba't naman kayo ganyan?
Madam Chair, if I may be allowed to clarify po, we did not list those projects under the approved LGU proposals. There may have been a confusion or
No, it's not a
miscommunication.
confusion.
Ma'am, in our copy po, it's only a separate chapter of the other LGU
Kanina nga,
proposals, ma'am.
Yung mga kulang pa ng financing document.
Yes, ma'am,
Masasabi
tama
lang
po
ni
yun.
Director, mag-usap kaya kayo, hindi kayo nagkakapareho ng sagot.
Ma'am, parang
Masasabi
pareho
lang
po,
niya
we
yung
just
isang
compared.
batch, pending financial documentation.
Correct, ma'am.
Eto,
Opo.
pending everything. Hindi pa
Yes,
nakikita ng board. Tigilan niya yung paglilista ng mga hindi pa tapos. Ano ba? Anyway, sa madaling sabi, wala kayong project. Oh, 32.2% out of the 2024 million budget, only 32% was obligated. And even less was disbursed. What's the reason for this hapless obligation and disbursement rates? Kasi 65.9 million lang ang nagastos sa 204. Pwede bang umuwi na? Nakapagod. Po, bakit hindi nakakapag-disburse?
Madam Chair.
Alam nyo, Director Narag, nag-a-approve kayo ng higit sa budget ninyo, samantalang yung disbursement and obligation rate ninyo nasa 32%. Taga-DOF ka. Is this responsible financial management?
Madam Chair, all the LGUs are also complying with the DBM
No, they're
policies
not.
in
No,
terms of
they're not.
SARO
You're
and
at
CA.
32%, dear.
Chair, I think it's the process really is delegated to the LGUs in terms of how they would do the procurement, comply with the work and financial plan. So while we're able to secure in
Anong
advance...
apog ninyo humingi pa ng karagdagang budget na ganito nga yung disbursement rate?
Chair, the budget for those approved, meaning per definition of the board, per the approval of the board.
Hindi ito project. Nasa ibang topic na ako, sumurrender na ako sa approved. Kasi linilito lang ninyo kami na hindi kami makapagbasa ng approved project. Kaya lumaktaw na ako sa ibang topic. Nasa topic na tayo sa inyong budget ng 2024. Sa available appropriation ng 204 million sa CCC, ang naobliga lang is 65.956 million or 32.2%. The submission derives from your office. I am merely parroting what you were given my office. Alam mo, bigay ko na lang yung mga tanong sa inyo kasi napapagod na ako na nangyayari sa buhay natin. Wala kayong sagot sa lahat ng tanong.
Madam Chair, I said earlier we had the updated record at September
Well then, how much
18.
have you spent so far? If you are contesting the amount of 65 million, how much have you spent of the 204?
As of September 15, Madam Chair, it's 56.4%. Which is 5% higher compared to...
I wouldn't be proud of that. You have one single quarter left.
That's also
and you
because...
have almost half of your budget to go.
Based on last year, Madam Chair, we are 5% higher. But traditionally, the programs and projects of CCC are at the latter end, second half of the year.
We are in the second half
Yes,
of
Madam
the
Chair.
year.
So we're rolling
we
out...
We only have one quarter left. Can you submit that and tell me how you're going to spend your entire budget and thereafter ask for more money having not spent your budget? Ano
Certainly,
ba?
Madam Chair.
Taon-taon ganito tayo, no? Your proposed budget by cost structure, the budget for general administration and support is 67.19 or almost 70% is overhead. Tapos yung operations na may overhead rin and nasa 37.5%. Ibig sabihin, lahat sahod. Kaya wala tayong project dahil lahat ng gastos napupunta sa sahod, biyahe, gastos at iba pa. Can somebody answer? 67.19% is general administration gas support. The budget for operations is 37.5%. Kaya nga, this is very clear. This makes it very clear why we have no projects. You're just paying yourselves. Any explanation? Wala rin. Okay. So may I have a breakdown of your gas account because your PS alone is 77%. Alam ninyo, sa LGU, kanina pa yung CC ninyo sa LGU, hanggang 42% lang ang gastos sa PS. Kayo namamayagpag sa halos 80% or double of the allowable total average. You're supposed to enhance LGU capacity. How can you ever do this given your budget structure consisting almost entirely of sweldo?
Madam Chair, if I may, we're getting support through SICA. We're also getting support from our SICA congressional. Congress introduced change in a
I don't know.
change.
If you don't know, I don't know.
And apart from that,
What did you say? From
SICA
congressional insertions? From where?
Congressionally introduced changes or adjustments, or SICA, Madam Chair, for certain projects that we have.
But you cannot possibly justify this.
Madam Chair.
Puro sahod lang kayo. Paano kayo mag-enhance ng anumang capacity ni sino man? Liit-liit ng operations ninyo. Yung operations, naka-built-in pa yung gasto, yung kwando na, yung overhead doon. Talagang walang patutunguhan to, puro sweldo lang eh.
That's why, Madam Chair, we're working on increasing the budget.
Okay. So why don't we go to the COA finding? Airline tickets not liquidated, misappropriation of excess cash advance. Bakit nagkakaganito? Napakasimple naman bumili ng ticket.
We've worked on that, Madam Chair. In fact, for the last 9 years naman, unmodified opinion ng
No. According to the COA report, this is the COA report I'm reading. Yeah. They were not liquidated within the time period. They were not bought or procured properly.
We're preparing the report for that, ma'am.
Okay, you had 42 foreign travels in 2023. How many in 2024? And how many are booked for 2025? Sana all. Yes, I need an explanation of the COA report. You already know that foreign travels, excessive foreign traveling, has been the issue with your commission aside from non-performance. So
Yes, Madam
I
Chair.
would have thought that you had an explanation for all this, but apparently not. So 42 foreign travels, 2023. Do you know where you went in 2024? Do you know where you're going in 2025? May I know?
Madam Chair, for the calendar, usually the participation of the Climate Change Commission is on capacity building
Just give me a
programs.
number. I keep saying this is a budget hearing. I am not here to discuss your dreams and
I was going to that
future.
point, Madam Chair.
Can we just get to the number?
For the scheduled or should be programmed would be the Conference of Parties or COP, which happens every year.
Yes, give me a number.
And SB.
How many trips are you taking? How many of you are going? Okay, since you don't know the answer and I'm exhausted and irritable, I think you should submit it.
Yes, Madam Chair.
2022, 2020, well, 2023.
2023 and
Sabi niyo 42. O yung 2024, di nyo alam. O alam niyo?
I'm looking for it, Madam Chair. Sorry.
It's not a trick question. Kayo nagbiyahe. Dapat alam niyo kung umalis kayo. At saka 2025, all the meetings are scheduled 3 years in advance. Ano ba? Bakit wala kayong bilang dyan? Okay, according to the COA report, purchases of office inventory and semi-expendable property did not undergo procurement and were only paid through reimbursement. Is there an explanation? Have you settled this with COA? Is COA around? Yes, Mr. Palitik. These findings of COA about the airline tickets, may sagot na ba sila sa inyo?
No agency action plan was submitted as of today, ma'am.
Until today, when were these observations provided by COA to them?
This was raised March or April this year, 2024.
So no answer since March.
Yes.
Did they tell you if they intend to answer? Or deadma forever?
We are still waiting for their agency action
So you
plan.
haven't heard from them at all? No response to the observations of COA and no communication as to their willingness to come to terms?
During the exit conference, ma'am, they provided their explanation.
Exit conference po?
Last June 2023. April 2023.
Oh,
Ay,
in
2024, ma'am. 2024.
Yun na nga, pero March, April, tama ka. Mula noon, wala ka na narinig sa CCC. Tama?
If I may, Madam Chair, after the exit conference and we were provided the audit findings for 2023, the Climate Change Commission worked on answering all of them.
Kaya
but I
nga,
was
but
made
you
to
haven't-
understand.
You haven't worked hard enough. It's already September. This was April.
We are going to submit that, Madam Chair. I was told that there are some areas in the audit findings that we still need to work on, but we will submit this as soon as we can, Madam Chair.
As soon as we can is not a date. May I have a date?
We can do it by this week, Madam Chair. We will submit by this week, Madam Chair.
I don't know. It's COA. It's COA that has to come back to me and tell me that you've complied or at least done something about all these COA findings. Okay. I think I can't make any headway with your budget, and with that, please submit all the required documentation. I am not a patient person. I believe I've been hugely patient, but I am unable to derive information or cooperation from your end. That being the case, I defer the budget of the Climate Change Commission. This happens every year. I wish you would prepare a little better and give us more information. Every year we are deferred. This is not how it should be. with more cooperation from your side. You saw how expeditiously the other agencies are dealt with. But since you have no information at all and submit strange and deceptive data, I think I am obliged as Subcommittee I to recall you subject to the submission of the information requested. Thank you.